Catholic style, as I always do with every week. And I told you last week, I used to have what's called an anxious ambivalent style, which is I long for love, I love long-distance relationships. I would be attracted to people who are highly emotionally avoidant. They needed to keep distance from me, and so I was always trying to get them to come in, reel them in some way, and often manipulative, unhealthy ways. But I was also ambivalent because I met somebody with a severe attachment who was really kind and loving and available and there. I would continue. What's wrong with that? That is like me, right? But now that I'm past it all, I have a secure relationship and been through years of therapy. It's really fun for me to identify people with an avoidant attachment style. This is coworkers, friends, same gender, whatever it's called. Because I spot it so easily because I can easily be triggered by it. And now I'm not triggered. I'm just like, oh, that's interesting. For instance, I was invited a couple of years ago to have dinner with a friend of the business team, and we have a beautiful big mansion, and the team had this staff for dinner, which is nice. So I texted him and said, oh, I'm in a high baking mood. What's your favorite kind of pie? I'll go have for dessert. He did not respond. He had his secretary responded in the email, his assistant, and she wrote, want you to know that because I want pie. That's not very nice. That's how somebody with an avoidant attachment style that can't even tolerate the intimacy of being honest and authentic, right? And then another time, I remember going to somebody's house. It's the first time I'd gone to their house, and we were going to meet for drinks and then go out to dinner. And I said, I texted and said, hey, I might be 10 minutes late, but then you know what? I guess, like a little guy's face. And now, if someone wrote you that, they'll come to the house for the first time, and you said, I might be 10 minutes late, if I get lost or something. What would you write back? No worries, you need directions? Are you okay? No worries. Oh, remember, turn right at the right stop. Yeah. You know what he wrote back? What? Okay. Wow. Okay. So the reason I find this story is because people say, what are the red flags? And so what are the red flags? And so the red flags are my team early on in the relationship, they're giving me indications that they can't tolerate intimacy, and that may or may not work for you. All right, let me come back. I want to talk about when it's time to break up in a relationship. And third, I want to talk about a husband and wife where the husband, for the last 10 years, has stopped having sex with his wife. Do you think they should divorce? We'll talk about this when we get back. You're listening to the Dr. Wendy Walker on Spotify, we're live everywhere, and the iHeartRadio app. Right now, let's go to this little place and take it by Barry Newton.
Tornado watch also affects parts of the region around their home. Half of those who responded to a recent poll say the charges against former President Trump are serious. The ABC News Ipsos poll published today also noted that 35% say the charges are not that serious. A well-known Russian military blogger is dead after a bomb blast at a cafe in St. Petersburg today. Ragland Katarsky, real name Maxim Froman, was killed in what appears to be the second assassination of a high-profile Putin supporter. Okay, we're going to check the 405 in children right after this. So, Matter Walk Days is a brand new fiction podcast that marries supernatural horror storytelling with an immersive psychological thriller. Themes to uncover the chilling story and secret that only the first cannot themselves. Listen to the Manawak Cave. That's MANCAWAUK on the iHeartRadio app or wherever you get your podcast. Southern California weather from KFI. Low clouds and fog starting around now and for the rest of the evening. Slight chance of rain after midnight, lows in the lower 50s. A wind and earth advisory moves tomorrow around lunchtime. Weather is brought to you by Dell Marketing LP. Okay, let's check traffic. You're still east with Zachary. North of 605, that's still east. That's just start blocking the car, also blocking the left lane. However, on the same way between Fremont Avenue and Eastern Avenue, traffic only blocking the right lane, with traffic backing up almost deadlocked in Parkland Avenue. You can expect to see the emergency crews on the scene here. In South LA, once in South Beach Avenue, stopping the traffic from the 10 at Washington Boulevard due to a crash pick up the middle lane. And Pasadena on the 210 west of Rosemead Boulevard, that's all the thing with the right shoulder. And then Boyle Heights to Key West between Lorraine Street and the 5, as right lane is closed because of collision. KFI is down up to faster. I'm Zachary Daniels.
The Dow Technologies 20-annual sale starts now with trillions of select pieces powered by the latest 12-gen Intel processor. Plus, get deal on select accessories and free shipping on everything. Save now by calling 877-ASK-DOW.
This report is sponsored by Napa Auto Parts. When your ride fires on all cylinders, so do you. That's why Napa is on a mission to keep you in motion. With nearly 6,000 Napa Auto Parts stores and over 17,000 Napa Auto Care centers, the Napa Network has everything you need to drive and go.
Bank of America has powerful digital solutions for local and global businesses. You can make every move smarter. Visit bankofamerica.com/banking for business to learn more. Bank of America, A.M. Copyright 2023.
And Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm, we know the importance of giving your clients more experience, more results, more than 300 lawyers ready to fight for you. Need more reasons? Because it covers more than $16 billion and has more offices nationwide. The benefits are more expensive. Check out any of our more than 28,000 five-star Google reviews from our clients. So, if you can prove it at work or in class, remember, you deserve more. And we, at Morgan & Morgan, are ready to fight to get you just that, more. Don't wait. Dial pound law or visit quarterpeople.com for the All-American largest injury firm or hit the back end of a national firm, along with a dedicated team from your community and fixed by us. When you need a fighter, you need us. All-America's largest injury law firm. Call Morgan & Morgan for the people.com.
Do you find yourself stuck in the timeshare? These are real facts about the timeshare industry and your options for cancellation. Captain Dowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group, is the largest timeshare company in federal court and has put together a free information guide that reveals the secrets the timeshare industry doesn't want you to know, including the 5 ways to get rid of your timeshare. Call now for the timeshare cancellation guide absolutely free.
Call 885-3300. That's 885-3300. Your traditional investments aren't so rich right now. So how about investing in assets that not only hold their value, but are just outright fun to own? Have you ever wanted a Rolex and never thought you could afford one? Let me suggest Bob Ross. Rolex, Omega, Cartier, Tudor, and a whole lot more. They have them all. Buy, sell, or trade. Huge inventory of luxury watches, free overnight shipping on all orders, and a great selection of vintage Rolex watches too. Bob Ross is a trusted online store to buy or sell modern and vintage luxury pre-owned watches, and all watches are 100% authentic and independently certified. And now you get $200 off. Google Bob Watches and my name, Bill Hill. Click the link at the top with the discount automatically applied to your order. Looking to sell your luxury watch? Fast and easy quote online from the watch experts at Google Bob Watches and Bill Hill.
Pray.com's meditative prayer contact is the best way to bring God's perfect peace into your life. Each meditative prayer helps you focus on God, fight anxiety, comfort, and breath. Listen to meditation on the iHeartRadio app or wherever you get your podcast.
If you're talking about indicting former presidents, wouldn't you want it to be for something more than falsifying business records? Look at the potential storm of freedom that would come for you to charge somebody with falsifying business. Sounds like a weekend NASA live 9 to 1 p.m. on KFI and on demand anytime on the iHeartRadio app.
You have Dr. Linda Walsh. So you just see the Dr. Linda Walsh show. Let's talk about breakup, shall we? Actually, I want to launch by talking about one of my favorite columns to read in the New York Times. It's the ethicist column. His name is Kwame Anthony Ataya, if I said it right, a British-American philosopher and writer. He's basically a hoity-toity dear Alex. the New York Times. Because while people write in about, ethical questions, they tend to always be about relationships. Well, this is Tommy's unique one, and I want to talk about what it says. The question was, my husband and I, who've been married for 30 years, have never been very comfortable with sex. I was in my late 30s when we met, and we both been single, we worked together, he was smart, he made me laugh. But my husband especially has never really been comfortable with sex. And so she said, I don't want to hurt him if I left him. I would be devastated, but I met someone recently that I'm very drawn to, and I'm tortured by the choice. Now, Tommy basically says that it is possible to have a companionate marriage, and there's no one right way to be married. I mean, we know that even asexual people can have romantic relationships. We know that they stop having sex, right? So, and they still have mature companionate love. However, what he says is a companionate marriage that isn't grounded in romance can be an alternative ideal, but this isn't obviously your ideal. Whatever the narrative model is, it should meet the needs of both parties. And then on the ethical side, he says, you're all a decade long part of something. You'll need to have a series of physical conversations with your husband, perhaps with your sister counselor. That's what I would say. Go to therapist, nothing to be a therapy, right? And it will help them, it might not help them stay together, but it will help them make the decision together. There was one thing slowly there that he did not address. I found very interesting. He said that her husband threatened to kill himself if she leaves. Uh-oh, that's manipulation. Yeah. So I just want to tell everybody out there who's ever heard a partner say that is manipulation, it's emotional abuse, it's control, it's playing on your compassion. I want everyone to know that you are not responsible for anybody else's behavior. You're not responsible for their reaction to your behavior. You know what you are responsible for? Your behavior, right? Your behavior. And so, the only thing I would add to this is if Bonnie's right, go to therapy, talk it out, figure it out. If you have been 30 years in a marriage that you're physically unhappy with, and you want to fill your wild oats before the sunset, then you have a right to do that. But if your marriage won't support that, then you have to make a decision, right? A lot of people stay in relationships going like, kind of good, kind of bad. No relationship is perfect. Lots of relationships have lots of problems, and they're still very functional and healthy, and they're still love. I always say that when the cold pricklies outnumber the warm fuzzies, that's when you gotta go, right? Yeah, short term, that's going to happen from time to time. But I mean, over the span of the relationship, if there are more negative things than positive things, you're going to leave. Now, I'm also a big proponent of going to therapy, working things out, using things like life to cause that to happen, infidelity is a list of reasons to leave. And I'll tell you why I'm going to tell you my personal life. This will be me. If I'm not telling you what to do. I'm just saying, if I were in a marriage and these things were happening, I would leave. And the reason why I'm telling you this is because this is the most common email, private message I get from people. This is happening. Should I leave? Is this bad enough? Because people don't know when the tipping point is. They have no sense for what's healthy and what's normal. All right, Dr. Wendy, do you think? You say, what do you mean? I will leave you if this is coming. Okay, repeated infidelity. I say repeated because, one time you guys can get into therapy, you can work on forgiveness, you can figure out what we're missing, it could be a way to reboot your whole relationship. Repeated infidelity, even after you've done the resolution and the solving and the healing. Number 2, lack of intimacy. A deep level of connection, authenticity, and vulnerability. I was having a conversation with somebody today, and I said, when I was young and beautiful, I attracted all those rich guys, and I never wanted to be with them because they always tried to control me or change me. Like they didn't like my mouth. They did not like my mouth. I had this mouth when I was in my 20s, okay? And so the other thing is they were often emotionally avoidant. And I was like, I need to have this connection. The lack of intimacy would be a reason to break up. What are my relationships? Oh, big one. Honesty. I'm sorry, if I catch you in one lie, I will never trust you ever again. Like, even the little tiny white lies are indicative that you can't be honest with me about everything, and that's a problem. It's like, it makes me go, well, what else are you lying about? Like, if that is the lie, right, it's all this one. Financial instability. Now, let me qualify. I think every human on the planet should learn how to support themselves. I'm not looking for bailouts, not looking for somebody to support me. I don't necessarily want to support others. I supported 2 kids all the way up, single mom, on my own, 100% custody, $0 child support. I'll sing to the rafters because it's hard work. I'm tired. So everyone should be able to take care of themselves. So if you're with a partner who can't hold down a job, who repeatedly gets fired, who repeatedly gets laid off, who gets lazy and they sit on the couch and they're not even trying, you need to leave. You got to cut your losses. I'm not, okay, you don't have to do anything. I'm saying I would, okay? I'm saying I would. Physical or emotional abuse. You probably know, if you've been listening to me for a long time, that I am a survivor of domestic violence. I actually did one thing, and so it was the second time that I left. Right? But chronic emotional abuse. You heard Jason Middleton say later, there's a new law where financial abuse, the creditors can go after the abuser for the money. Because if he's trying to keep her in the same country, he was telling the story out like in the other somewhere, like maybe he's going to go to something. And it was a murder where an off-duty police officer murdered the wife's boyfriend. And she had been, so to see how the press conference, she was crying the whole time. I don't know why. She probably in shock and probably just should have been. Anyway, she got up and kept crying. All of you around asking her what happened. She said that, they had made a decision that they were going to divorce, but financially they were stuck in this mortgage. So they were going to try to live in the same house together while they move forward in some way. Yes. Right. That's so dangerous. Did you say how dates you back at the house? Well, anyway, the date didn't go up. Apparently, the husband, sort of estranged husband, cut him off his path. He walked away. Right. She's safe. Okay, child abuse. That's another good reason to leave. Definitely. You can't sit there and watch your child be abused. Take it. Go. We're done. Addiction that is not being treated. If you hang out, join the neighborhood. That's what happens. And also, I would also leave someone if they have extremely unhealthy behavior, because health habits are highly contagious. Look, I'm supposed to be on a low sugar diet. Don't tell my cardiologist here. But who really loves this dessert? I've noticed, I don't order it, he orders it, but I see on my little fork, go over there, and my little fork takes 1 or 2 little bites. Every night I shouldn't. I have insulin resistance. I should not go over there with my fork. There it is. Those forks have a mind of their own. They do. They have every part of the and that ice cream, the apple, the little ice cream, you can have 1 bite of that. All right, well, let me come back. Some people after a breakup stuck in the cycle of longing and pining. Psychologists might call it ruminating for their ex, and they can't get over it. In fact, they use the court system sometimes to stay attached to their ex, now in conflict rather than love. I have a guest who just wrote a book called Letting Go of Your Ex, the Cognitive Behavioral Skills to Heal the Pains of Breakup and Overcome Love Addiction. A board-certified clinical psychologist and clinical professor in the Department of Psychiatry at Berkeley Corning School of Medicine at University of Utah. You're listening to Dr. Lady Blackstock, and he is black, and it's totally live everywhere. I mean, I heart baby live. Right now, let's go to 24-hour KFI newsroom and our very own Justin Middleton.
Building homeless camps here with its authors called sensitive areas, including schools and libraries. Republican State Senator Brian Jones, who introduced the bill, pushed for support ahead of the committee hearing. He says the ban would require officers to give a 72-hour notice before work. This will give homeless folks a chance to find alternatives and hopefully services before the encampment is clear. Jones says it's a shame the Democrat-led Public Safety Committee didn't pass the bill. The bill has been granted reconsideration. What trolling say I use nearly 10,000 active duty soldiers have developed obesity between February 2019 and June 2021. Even Brian Clark says the study from the Uniformed Services University used body mass index to guide towards runners. Obesity-related health members and their families top $1.5 trillion a year. The study says almost a quarter of the troops allies developed their issues during the pandemic. Increases were also seen in the U.S. Navy and the Marines. Pope Francis has presided over Mass in St. Peter's Square at the Vatican for Palm Sunday. The service comes a day after he left the hospital in Rome, where he was being treated for bronchitis. 30,000 people estimated to have been in attendance as Francis opened the celebration to observe Jesus' entrance into Jerusalem in the time leading up to his crucifixion. Mark Remillard says Palm Sunday marks the start of a busy week for the Pope. The Vatican says Pope Francis will preside over Holy Week ceremonies which end with Easter Sunday Mass. We will check back on the one hand in San Pedro right after this.
iHeartRadio is here with little tips for a healthier family. October is Energy Awareness Month. It is a good time to reset your home to make sure you're ready for the season's cooler temperatures. Keep your window shades open on sun-facing windows during the day to get free solar heat, and close them after dark to add a little extra insulation. Brought to you by iHeartRadio Earth and from National Environmental Education Foundation. To find more tips for smarter, sustainable living, or to take action in your own community, go to iHeartRadio.com/Earth. Help a friend with a tip from iHeartRadio Earth. Education doesn't just take place in the classroom. There are many ways children of all ages can learn about sustainability and the environment at home. Visit iHeartRadio.com/Earth for a list of resources, activity guides, and toolkits that are educational and fun for the whole family. Brought to you by iHeartRadio Earth and the National Environmental Education Foundation. To find more tips for smarter, sustainable living, or to take action in your own community, go to iHeartRadio.com/Earth.
The California weather from AR for LA and OC as we move into nighttime, low clouds and fog, a 20% chance of rain at midnight. Lows now over 50. Tomorrow, low clouds and fog in the morning and sunshine. A 20% chance of rain doesn't mean all right, but highs in the upper 50s. Tuesday and Wednesday, sunny skies, all over highs in the 50s. Now, let's check the roads with that. She has a zone to note your senses. I don't know if it's out of Jason Thomas Bridge. The ramp to the Jason Thomas Bridge is closed for some emergency road work. This could be a long-going closure. No escape has to be reopened. I don't know what just got a huge down in South LA. That's not just a fairly depth after that. That's in Washington Boulevard. Out here on the West between Trumon Avenue, Eastern, all the way to Broadview, Price, and the White Lake. It's got stacked up still deadlocked on Broadview Avenue. The emergency crews on the street here. It's Paramount. I mean, 258, 710 South of Rose Avenue for Stowell. We're going to put a call from the 105. It's new route here, so toilets. So find us down here. You guys after? I'm back. I'm sorry. This is marketers, of course. I think you're saying it right. Global Chief Marketing Officer, Director-to-Consumer for Warner Brothers Discovery, brings in the physical task of building and retaining consumer trust. Trust is a really hard thing to build and a really easy thing to destroy, and we have to be very respectful about that. Our partnership with iHeart has really helped us build that trust and that relationship with the owner and talent. The best thing for us to do is to build a relationship with our consumers. And if those consumers have a relationship with the DJs that are on air, then we want to build on that. House of the Dragon, which is one of our most successful, if not the most successful campaign we've ever done for a show, audio was a core part of that. It's the #1 audio company. iHeartMedia gives marketers access to every artist, live conversations, trusted influencers, and the insights and data you need to grow. Not just a media company. iHeartMedia is your access company. Go to iHeartResults.com for more. This is Jacob M. If you've been in a truck accident, call 844-24.
Live everywhere.
Download the free iHeartRadio app for all your music when you want podcast.
The Dr. Wendy Walsh Show. Guess what? I have a guest who's actually in the studio, not on the telephone. What a difference it is when we have body language, appearances, ceremonies, we're like communicating on every level. I want to welcome Dr. Courtney Warren, author of Letting Go of Your Ex, Cognitive Behavioral Skills to Heal the Pain of a Breakup and Overcome Love Addiction. Welcome. It's absolutely delightful to be here in person with you. Well, I always like to brag. This one people have a lot of letters that we're in, so daily. Dr. Courtney Warren is a board-certified clinical psychologist and adjunct clinical professor in the Department of Psychiatry and Behavioral Health at Kirkby Cornell School of Medicine at the University of Nevada in Las Vegas. You've won numerous professional awards for your research. You're an expert on addiction, self-deception, romantic relationships, eating pathology, and the practice of psychotherapy from a cross-cultural perspective. I am so honored to have you here. I'm so honored to be here. Thank you. Yes, I'm blushing. I talk about this all the time. First of all, I am not a clinician. I'm a professor. I teach health psychology. I teach development, and I just obsessed. So, is love a drug? That's a disempoweling question. I think there is a tremendous amount of emerging neurobiological research to suggest that when you fall in love, that romantic love, you're head over heels, it actually stimulates brain regions that you absolutely see in any addictive behavior, including drugs and alcohol of abuse. So I think there's a lot of argument that we should make to suggest that love can be addictive and actually made biologically designed to be addictive. To try to get you to bond, to stay together and reproduce. You know, those early stages of love, where you can stay up all night talking, or just looking into the circle, and then go to work the next day, not even tired. Is that neurohormone? What is that vasopressin doing that? There's some of that. There's oxytocin, there's dopamine, there is a flood of neurotransmitters that are making you praise this person, think about this person, want to be with him as much as humanly possible. Just like you said, even when you're not with them, you're thinking about them and planning for a future. It's a very obsessive, hormonally based. You know, when I'm falling in love, I like you. I'm always picturing like, wow, what do we think of doing this? That's how I know I'm falling in love. I love that. It is kind of like a drug, and it does function like an addiction. However, we talk a lot on the show about attachment theory. How would you say our childhood experiences contribute to this potential addiction? An enormous role. You can't underestimate how much your childhood learning and experiences influence your development over time, and they will absolutely manifest in your adult relationships. So, for example, if you grew up in a household where there was abuse, there was any kind of argumentation, you didn't feel safe, you didn't feel secure, there was a lot of violence, but yet the person is your lifeline. It's a parent. You probably didn't attach in a healthy way. And that will emerge in your adult romantic relationship. And so, in particular, what I see that what you mentioned is that if you fall in love with someone, oftentimes you experience the honeymoon phase through the fantasy of love. Oh, of course, because you don't know anything about them. But those people are doing an Academy Award-winning performance, right? And you're putting your best foot forward. What does Chris Rock say? He says during the first 6 months when you date somebody, you're not actually dating them, you're dating their representative. Absolutely, you are. I mean, that's so true. You're dating who you wish they were. And so when that happens, oftentimes as the days go by and you start to get trapped in the reality of things, that they aren't this perfect person that you thought they were in your mind, because you feel so amazing, right? Having sex, being sexual, falling in love, they all feel amazing and euphoric, which is part of that addictive nature of love. But as you start to see who they actually are, then you will start to see traction that, and that is oftentimes when I see a childhood experience, right? Because people with a secure attachment style get out at that moment. They're like, oh, I was assessment period over. I better go now. You're not who I thought you were. But the anxious person is like, I will turn you into who I thought you were. I will change you. I can change you. I'll make you want me. I'm starting my early days. Oh, God. Awful. So, when it comes to the breakup, your book, letting go of your ex, is all about really overcoming the grief. Right? Why do some people have almost complicated grieving? They just extend it on and they become stalkers online, looking at their social media, seeing where they're going. They're really re-injuring themselves by this knowledge. Why do some people do that and other people go out and find new friends and make themselves happy? I think a lot of it has to do with how hard you tell for this person and how much you build your life around it. So one thing we see in all addictive behaviors, whether it's gambling or eating or sex or internet, online bullying, anything like that, is that it becomes the focus of your life. It essentially becomes the most important thing at the expense of everything else, including people who used to care about friendships, doing well in school, focusing at work. And so when you have that experience, that intense romantic love experience with someone and then you break up, for some people that brings them into an addictive cycle of withdrawal that is incredibly they're still hyper fixated on them. They're thinking about them. They want to talk to them. They want answers. They want to fix it. And so it's as if this person who once was so important and special in their life is not there anymore, except they're still occupying the same amount of space in their own mind. I told this story on the air before, but I had an incident that went on and on for almost 10 years. I did things like change my phone number, he'd work his way in and stay away, right? And then at one point when we were on a break, I literally sat at his door, where we had a smartphone. I sat outside his place of work in a big in my car and watched the people came away. I was just a mini sucker. I was just only one time, okay? Just one time. And that's when I realized that I've lost it. That I was too much. When if you recognize that you're doing things that are outside of your moral compass, that makes you feel really badly about who you are, that compromise your value score, that are actively, they're not good for you. You're following your actions to their way. You're getting in arguments with the new people they're doing. You're following the version on social media. You're looking at the dating apps to see who, when they were last online and who they're trying. Ultimately, those things keep you fixated on them. And you're hurting yourself. Oh my, not hurting. They don't even know, by the way. We have to go to break. When we come back, I want to talk about what we can do, strategies to help get over your ex. And most important, because this is the big thing I have to learn, how to not do the same patterns with the next person. It's a big one. Anyway, my guest is Dr. Courtney Warren. Her book, Letting Go of Your Ex, Cognitive Behavioral Skills to Feel the Pain of a Breakup and Overcome Love Addiction. Really change the doctor and the doctor. Okay, o'clock. And it's recorded live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app. Right now, let's go to 24-hour clip on YouTube, and I'm Jason Middleton.
Elvis track in western Montana, about 200 miles northwest of Bozeman, with 200 miles past Montana. It's not much. St. Francis observed on Sunday with a service in St. Peter's Square, a day after being discharged from the hospital for bronchitis. The pontiff would like the world to take better care of the poor, sick, and lonely. The McDonald's Corporation is reorganizing, laying off workers, and closing its headquarters office this week. We will check the 133-year Irvine.
Why would a plumber just tell me what it costs to unclog my drain over the phone? Is it that complicated?
No, it's not. It makes no sense at all. They obviously have a price.
Whoa, you got a nice aroma. Who are you?
I'm Diamond, the snowball plumber.
Will you tell me how much to unclog my drain?
$99.
But you haven't seen it.
It doesn't matter if it's a kitchen sink or a mainline sewer stopper. The snowball plumbers at Mike Diamond will unclog almost any drain for $99.
Almost.
Yeah, there are a few exceptions. Be sure we all got them on our website before you call. Just go to thesnowballplumber.com.
Wow, you are upfront and everything. I just told a guy named Brother who wouldn't tell me anything.
No brothers here, ma'am. Just professional plumbers who show up on time, no good, and unclog drains for $99. Call us. 1-800-446.
Win the $3 breakfast deal is your choice of bacon or sausage, or the fish for lunch. Plus, the small seasoned potatoes for just $3. Place your morning routine and get your $3 breakfast deal today. Limited time only at participating U.S. Wendy's Square Breakfast Hours.
This report is sponsored by LEITT4me.org. Southern California weather from day by low clouds and fog starting to roll in now, and for the rest of tonight, light chances rain after midnight. Lows in the lower 50s. A wind and surf advisory moves in tomorrow around 1 p.m. Weather is brought to you by Wendy's International. They would check traffic near Irvine on the 133. The 133 sounds after the 241. That's the box does. That's $17 plus. They said these are the 4 by North Francisco 5. That's 12 walking for the 4 they ordered Westlake. And downtown order, working south at Washington, Texas, and San Divider. And then people west of Rosie Boulevard, Pasadena, all of them is like over by Beach State Cafe. They both hiked to the section $60 between Lower Street and the 5 and Light Lane. Both break in. They apply the sky to their taxes and taxes heaven. Do you have an iPhone? If you earned less than $30,000 last year, you may get money back when you file your taxes. Learn more at CalEICT, the number 4News.org. It's your money. Claim it. Everyone knows that an ounce of conviction is sound good, right? The people don't feel sound good. They have to respond to the issue. You have to respect it to the urgency. Decisions to have a professional trade cost a little bit extra to pay your dollars. The whole process much bigger and more simplified in place. We have play systems all the time. It just means don't just turn the page. So instead of like this 12 or more years, it's just like you know, just get the settings. Don't risk it. And an ounce of prevention still feels like I'm sure. Also, take this for $88 peanut per day. The future system clean, energy efficient, and great working order. Also, start this right now. There's an $88 precision test. Remember, it's free 777-7777 or online for the technical software. Last time we looked at this in Spain in 1496 after his second voyage. Welcome you back to the City Center Convenience Mart. We're looking at the cigarettes. Buttons, where's the job off the counter? Stand up the cancer. Rally wants you to reduce your risk for cancer. Go to TakeAHealthyStand.org. Let the marketers support the today. Apple wants two brand officers. Mark Richards going in on building loyalty. Apple has really worked to create amazing access moments for our customers. And for these access parties that only Apple One card holders can get access to, and you can't pull that off without the number one audience line. iHeartMedia gives marketers access to the audience's insights and data needed to grow. Your marketing for the iHeartRadio.com. On the free iHeartRadio app, you never pay to do what you love and never wait for what you want. Save your money, save your time, and listen anywhere. Download the free iHeartRadio app for all your music, radio, and increasing their crime, period. And that's all that matters. They're not there fixing them before they committed the crime. They just move hard in the business of crime. They don't do anything else but commit crimes all day. Live 1 to 4 p.m. on KFI. And on demand anytime on the iHeartRadio app.
You got that together with them. Dr. Wendy Walsh here, my guest, Dr. Courtney Warren. Her book, Letting Go of Your Ex. Famous 50 work. Letting Go of Your Ex. Cognitive behavioral skills to feel the pain of a breakup and overcome love addiction. You know, it is a sign of a bad relationship if you're breaking up and getting back together and breaking up and getting back together. And that relationship turning, that's the psychological turning, not the relationship turning. It's like you can't seem to get in it and you also can't seem to get out of it. It's one of the worst conditions. I was in it for years. I used to say the most uncomfortable thing is sitting on the top of the fence. If I could fall down one side or the other, I would have my feet on the ground. But I sat there on the fence. I couldn't make a decision about whether this was all bad or all good. And which direction. And of course, their partners, suffer a little bit and got some breadcrumbs. Of course, the breadcrumbing is there to most people. So what are some cognitive behavioral skills to help people get over their ex? The first thing I want everyone to know is they're going through that breakup. Is that they're not alone, and that the more they engage with their ex, the more they're going to take. Oh, yes. And that's because from an executive perspective, being in touch with your ex is like taking your job. It is going to continue to stimulate those parts of your brain and your body and your mind and your detective nature that keep going back. You must unfriend, unfollow online. And if you have friends in common where your ex is going to appear in history, you're going to tell your friends one thing, and then unfollow you for a little while I'm seeing it, right? Absolutely. You're going to stop coming and you created contact with them. Anything you can do differently, because there's so many degrees in life that we can't control. You can't control your actions. You can control whether they want to, or you can't control whether they're going to change. But you can control how you're going to respond. Now, separate aside from like people talking about being sausage or these kind of stuff, separate aside from that, what about the money? What about going to places where you go together? No, we're going to stop as much of it as possible. Actually, one of the hardest things that people will tell me is that they have to stop contacting their own mind. So one of the symptoms of a love addiction breakup or any bad breakup is that you have these obsessive, intrusive thoughts. Things you used to do together. You pass by the park where you used to watch, and immediately you're triggered because you remember what you said or what you did or the tips they gave, right? So part of your journey of recovery is managing your own things. And there are so many TV shows that you can help yourself with that. One thing that I recommend is that people do stop shopping. I love stop shopping. That's so helpful. So thought stopping is anytime you notice yourself having that thought about your ex, you say, pause, stop. You picture a big red stop sign, and you say, no, I am not available to think about you right now. And you literally, over time, will practice it so that you have some control and self-efficacy over the intrusive patterns that you're going to have in your own life. When I was healing, I was working with a therapist. I chose to shop, I don't know why, this little posters I put on every mirror and every window of my apartment. And all it said is, because my dad had been in the Navy and he was a very loving, wonderful dad, but he was gone in a very inconsistent pattern my whole childhood. And so the child in me thought Daddy doesn't love me. He's not here. He's not here now. I can't tell when he's coming. And so I would just post these signs all over my apartment that just said Daddy loves me. And I would see them in my peripheral vision everywhere, and it really changed things. I mean, it sounds so simple. And it really is. It is. The more you practice it, the easier it gets. So in addition to, as you practice these things, so if you don't like a stop sign, that's fine. It can be any image you want. And over time, you will learn mindfulness as well. So you start to notice the thought, you know it's there, but instead of trying to stop it, you non-judgmentally just let it let it flow by. And don't let it sit. Because obsessive thinking oftentimes is so difficult because it keeps coming back and back. So I also pair thought stopping with rumination time. And what I mean by that is, I've heard about this. So wait a second. I have always thought that when you're, and let's explain what rumination is. You know when you're trying to get to sleep at 2 in the morning and the same thought is sitting over and over, it's like you're trying to solve that problem, but you just rethink it in a different way and just won't stop. They're almost like that's rumination. And I've heard you're supposed to stop it. However, now they're saying you should get time for it. This is what's on, right? Yes, because the problem is that if you just try to avoid any unpleasant things, doesn't doesn't your body, right? So you actually want to set aside time every day to just think about your ex. So I literally recommend that people set aside a rumination time 3 times a day, 20 minutes, that you can play around with it, use what works for you. Your only job is to think about your ex. Your breakup, every horrible thing they said to you, everything you want to tell them, you can cry, you can scream, you can listen to loud music, and set a timer. When it's done, then you can think about them until the next rumination time, and that's when you're going to practice without stopping. And so, do you start drinking a rumination time as the days or weeks go by, or you can say years of 20 minutes 2 times a day? It really depends on your situation. Generally, what I find is that the more people practice any of these skills, the easier they get and the less time they'll need. Because the goal is that as you overcome and let go of your ex, you actually become much less important to you. And so you won't find yourself thinking about them. You won't find yourself wanting to have those explanatory, tell me why we're not together, let me fix this, let me change it, because they just won't be as valuable anymore. We have very little time left, so I'm just on radio, but I want to ask this. So I have noticed friends who are divorced who continue to keep contact through their ex through the court system. And I see it as almost like an anti-attachment. It's like anytime you miss a slight payment or late on something, they call the lawyer and they're back in and whatever. And like, just get it out. One thing that I see in divorces, especially ugly divorces, when it's love addiction situations, is that instead of the hyper fantasy of my ex was the most amazing person in the world and I never destroyed them, this man is the worst person in the world and they stay addicted to their anger. Yep. And that is completely and that's the you know. I never got a dime of child support, and I got the annual letter that I get from the Department of Children and Family Services. It says we are unable to locate the absent spouse, whatever. Give any information about where he is, what his phone number is. And my boyfriend now, he's like, well, don't you think you should take down some of that talk? But I go, why? That's going back into the relationship. That belongs in another time in my life. Like, I did it. The more you can come to a place of forgiveness, look back with great gratitude for whatever the brutal, wonderful, miserable, horrible experience was, and bless it and say, wow, I learned something really important about myself to that extent. I don't ever want to go through it again. Right. It was a miserable time. I always say relationships are over when you stop growing. When you stop growing in that relationship. And I don't know, some of you are just like, nobody's going anywhere here. The boredom level is beyond. Nobody's being stimulated. Stop going. And I always remind people, this is important because I'm a huge fan of evolutionary psychology, that when the death to us part was invented, death was pretty innocent. And because of our extra long lifespan, even the most monogamous of people may find 2 or 3 long stints of monogamy in their life. So let's pull people up to deal pain. Breakups are normal. Divorces are normal. This is part of life. But staying stuck on your ex is not healthy for you. Not healthy. Thank you so much. I want you guys to go out and just look in around. Absolutely. Just Google this. Listen, for ex. Cognitive behavioral skills to heal the pain of a breakup and overcome some other things by Dr. Courtney Warren. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you, Dr. Wendy. It was delightful. When we come back, I'm going to social media and I am taking your calls for my drive-by makeshift relationship advice. The number is 1-800-520-1KFI. That's 1-800-520-1534. You're listening to Dr. Wendy Boston and say hi. And it's recorded live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app. Thank you, Middleton. You got any for us? No need to keep taking requests. We got this. Los Angeles,
everywhere on the iHeartRadio app. Do indeed, Dr. Smaller saves money. I'm Jason Middleton. Live in the KFI 24-hour newsroom. A new study says the cities in the state with the cheapest home prices also have less than 70,000 residents. The March study from Go Banking Rates found 5 cities in California with an average home value of, get this, less than $350,000. It says Oildale, a town in Kern County, is the cheapest place to buy a home with the average home price at $248,000. Researchers analyzed Zillow and the U.S. Census Bureau data to determine which cities house the state's cheapest homes. The top 5 most affordable cities are all in Kern, Tulare, and Imperial counties. A school in Glendale is the district's first ever elementary school to open a wellness room for students.
Buenos Elementary created a room for students really during recess and lunch where they can read, write, use a sensory table, and relax in what's called the chill zone to take a breath. Principal for the school, Christina Ryan, says the room is meant to be a safe space. The therapy doll is coming once a week to visit with the students, so they'll have all things for that in there. Just to address some of their social and emotional needs, the Glendale School District received a $10,000 donation from the California Credit Union to open the center, and the school says state funding will be needed moving forward. Chris Adler, KFI News.
There are a slew of economic reports on the calendar this week. Things get going tomorrow with data on construction spending, job openings, and factory orders are Tuesday. The ADP employment report comes out Wednesday, followed by weekly jobless claims on Thursday, and the government's monthly jobs report will be released Friday, along with an inflation report. United States Mayor, I'm going to run for president of the United States. The former governor of Arkansas says he's running for president in 2024. Republican Asa Hutchinson says former President Trump should drop out of the race and focus on his indictment. The office is more important than any individual person. And so for the sake of the office of the presidency, much of a sideshow and distraction, and leaving the field to concentrate on history process, and there is a presumption of innocence. Hutchinson says he convinced people want leaders that appeal to the best of America. He says he believes he will be a leader with common sense, consistent conservative, of course, with this so useful taking up a discussion about it from people out from the Westland. Never good news from the 10 West King Fremont Avenue in Eastern area that practice spiritual late. In the Florida area, the 210 West and the Pitt Canyon Road starts crossing southwest, and Diamond Farm the 60 West 57 got a classic burning the right lane that's jumping into the right shoulder, and no walking the 605 north of Firestone Boulevard. That's all blocking the right lane for the outlet. Hey, if I am style of the Baxter, I'm Zachary Gaines.
In this week's marketer support, Patricia Sayula, Global Chief Marketing Officer, Direct to Consumer for Warner Brothers Discovery, weighs in on the difficult task of building and retaining consumer trust.
Trust is a really hard thing to build and a really easy thing to destroy, and we have to be very respectful about that. Our partnership with iHeart has really helped us build that trust and that relationship with the on-air talent. The best thing for us to do is to build a relationship with our consumers. And if those consumers have a relationship with the DJs that are on air, then we want to build on that. The House of the Dragon, which was one of our most successful, if not the most successful campaign we've ever done for a show, audio was a core part of that.
It's the #1 audio company. iHeartMedia is marketed access to all. Every audience, live conversations, trusted influencers, and the insights and data you need to grow. Not just a media company. iHeartMedia is your access company. Go to iHeartResults.com for more.
President Biden is disappointed in what he's calling a short-sighted decision by OPEC oil-producing countries. Saudi Arabia and Russia are among a number of countries that announced today voluntary oil production cutbacks from May until the end of the year. The Saudi Energy Ministry is calling the cutback a precautionary measure to keep the oil market stable. Saudi Arabia and Russia intend to cut production by 500,000 barrels per day. Southern California weather from KFI. Okay, we have a wind/surf advisory tomorrow around 1 p.m. Keep that in mind as you get ready for the start of your week. For LA and OC, the rest of the night, low clouds and fog, a 20% chance of rain after midnight, lows in the lower 50s. Tomorrow, low clouds and fog in the morning, and then sunny, 20% chance in the morning as well. But the highs are going to be in the upper 50s to mid-60s. Tuesday and Wednesday, very sunny all day long. Mission Diego right now, 55. Stanton, 59 degrees. Long Beach is at 61. And Altadena is at 54. We read local. Live from the KFI 24-hour newsroom. I'm Jason Middle.
KFI AM 640. You have Dr. Wendy Walsh. This is the Dr. Wendy Walsh Show. Well, in a moment, I'm going to be taking your calls. Producer Kayla has walked our fabulous guest down to the car. So therefore, there's nobody taking calls for a few minutes. I'll tell you when the line's open. You might as well write down the number now. It's 1-800-5201-KFI. That's 1-800-520-1534. So I'm going to start by going to social media. There's a whole bunch of stuff coming in there. Okay, dear Dr. Walsh. Oh, this looks like a statement more than a question. Women who think that they are going to be swept off their feet by the perfect man in a perfect relationship are fantasizing. Women want the whole package, while good men, not perfect, but decent, caring, loving, and kind men don't get a second look because the bar has been set too high. Women need to wake up and quit waiting for perspective. Well, I agree. This is what I've been saying. Ladies, you are surging ahead in education, in economics. Your idea of a power man might just be a guy who can power a stroller, okay? So if a relationship is in state of care, that care can take many, many forms. Financial is one of them. I do blame Hollywood and romance novels, and just a lot of you have these ideas of this perfection. There is research to show that when women do rise in education and economics, they want a man who is even more than them. And that's patriarchy in your own head, ladies. That's patriarchy saying, oh, well, the woman must be a little less than the man. Maybe make less money. Maybe whatever, I want to look up to my man. What? Hello. You can be a very feminine woman and make more money. You can be a very feminine woman and be with a man who loves to do laundry. It's okay. I mean, you got to get these ideas of male and female and gender roles and what is perfect in a relationship. And you've got to start clicking on the guys on the dating app that aren't getting as much attention. Because you get 90% of the women clicking on 10% of the men. And the other 90% of good guys are hanging out there with their hearts waiting for you to match with them. That's been my social. All right. Dear Dr. Wendy, the love of my life needs some healing. She's had a very tough life. She's a sweetheart, and she's been in therapy for some time. When she has her episodes, I am frequently on the receiving end. It hurts me. I love her. She has these episodes every couple of months. I'm patient with her, but now I feel it's taking toll on me. How can I love her through her lash out, but also protect myself? All right. So I just want to say it is not your job, or anybody listening, it is not your job to be your partner's therapist. It is not your job to heal them. Unless you think you're some kind of angel savior who's just come in and you're going to, no, you're not. You don't have that power, okay? You're responsible for you. And part of being responsible for you is putting up good boundaries. So you're going to say to her, you know what? The next time you're yelling at me and you're not in your right mind, not the woman I love at that moment, I'm going to walk out. And you cannot take action. When you're calm, call me back. Whatever. And I also think you need to get your own therapist so that you can ask the question of why. Why you need to be the police with you. Why you have to deal with something. Right? There's a lot to unpack in this kind of relationship. Dear Dr. Wendy, this is a very sensitive question. It's okay. I think he's an adorable, huge teddy bear. However, because of his body weight, he's become very lazy in bed. Oh, Dr. Wendy, I do all the work, and I have to be on top. How do I address it? Wow. Okay, so when somebody's unhealthy behavior gets to a point where it's impacting the physical intimacy in a relationship, the two of you need to go to couples therapy. And of course, the other question, and the thing that should be unpacked in therapy, is what caused the weight gain. You know, gaining weight isn't just about, oh, let's go have fun, have a few beers, and have more burgers, and have too many. Obesity has a biological, sociological, and psychological feature, right? And so understanding what his eating has been doing, why he's eating, what has it been satisfying for him, that's what you need to figure out. And at the same time, why you kind of put up with it, but haven't brought it up until now, right? And I think the two of you should work together with a licensed therapist because that's a heavy one. All right. Ooh, over here on Twitter. Dear Dr. By the way, if you want to follow me on social media, the handle is at Dr. Wendy Walsh, at Dr. Wendy Walsh everywhere. Dear Dr. Wendy, I went on my boyfriend's Twitter account and found DMs from my best friend. She told him she really liked him and that I'm not the girl for him, but she is. He never told me about these messages. He did tell her she never messaged him again and that he loved me. I am so hurt by both of them. Why wouldn't you tell me? What would you ever want to hurt you? You hurt yourself. Okay, so these messages were from months ago. I've been with my best friend every week. I'm sick of all this help. All right, so here's the thing. Everybody's lying to everybody here. He didn't disclose to you about this message, probably because he knew how valuable this relationship was with your best friend, and he felt that since he put up a boundary, it was done. It was between him and her. He put up a boundary, it's done. You didn't see any more messages from her, so it worked, right? But now, you're also lying because you went in and deceptively looked at those DMs. So you're as bad as holding secrets from him. That's not fair either. How is he going to trust you? How are you going to bring it up, right? By saying, you know, suspicious of you, so I went into your DMs, and then I found you protecting me, and that's great, but whatever hurt, it's going to be a big laugh. Here's what I did. If this were me, I would put this one in the little back of my pocket, and I would start to uninvite her a few things in the future. I would start to slowly wean her. I would start to get closer to other girlfriends. Because, an evolutionary psychologist might say that this behavior that I'm suggesting is called mate guarding. You are protecting your mate from a known mate poacher. Trust me, it's not going to end here. She's going to make another runaround, and she'll do it at a time when he's home, when the relationship is home. When you tell her, oh my God, we're going to be such a bad time, blah, 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 she will come back around. That's what mate poachers do, okay? So you go slowly weaning her off as a best friend. You start to build other friendships, and it's up to you if you're going to tell him that you deceived him and violated his privacy by going into his DMs. I think that in a perfect relationship, you're going to come clean on everything like that. But if not, then you're going to stop doing that. Really, you got to stop yourself. All right. Here's Dr. Wendy. I became a vegan about 7 months ago. Meat is really bad for you. I want my husband to become a vegan too. He refuses. Is this a deal breaker? All right, let's unpack a few things here. If you are talking to my nutritionist, the one who my cardiologist sent you to, who knows that I have severe insulin resistance, a vegan diet would kill me, literally, because I cannot process carbohydrates. And when you take away the protein, what do you guys put back in there? Grains, pasta, bread, right? And so in order to get enough protein that I would need, I would have to 9 cups of beans a day, and beans are too high in carbohydrates for me. So, food is not bad for everybody. Everybody is different. Yeah, it's the control thing that bothers me here. You want your husband to become a vegan too. What happens when one partner gets a new religion and hopes the other person will join the club? And I remember a friend of mine bringing it up. He was very Christian. He believed in God. He believed that he wasn't a Christian. And I said, you need him to validate your beliefs? Is that really what it's about? You need him to validate your beliefs? If you have a belief and you have a strong faith, then you don't have to judge anybody else for their faith. You don't have to bring anyone else into the club. You just live with who you are. And I say that about the vegan woman too. If you believe in this, and it feels good to you, and you're healthy, go for it. It's trying to change everybody else. One of my best friends is vegan. And I have to tell you, she just lives her life. She does not preach it. And I witness, and I observe her life. I don't, she models it. She doesn't preach it. Love that. All right, when we come back, I will be taking your calls. I think you can with that. The number is 1-800-520-1KFI. That's 1-800-520-RADIO. Right now, let's go to Casey Middleton with 24-hour funding from
Saudi Arabia and Russia announced today that they are cutting oil production by 500,000 barrels every day. OPEC's cover story for this is that it's a cautionary measure to stabilize the oil market. The governor of Tennessee says he wants to expand it, a school safety measure that will put armed guards at every school in the state. If you play the lottery, if your winning Powerball jackpot is up to $159 million ahead of tomorrow's drawing. As for Tuesday's Mega Millions jackpot, that's up to $385 million. Okay, we're going to check on Diamond Bar traffic right after this. I'm Martin Hope, the inventor of Divide Nasal Care, and I love Divide. I told you about how your nose is divided characteristic. The Divider's powered suction will help flush out allergies, viruses, mucus, and germs, and the Divider will help you breathe better. But what do other people say about Divide? Like Scott, quote, after walking around my whole life being a mouth breather, I was excited to try Divide. I read the directions carefully, pressed the button, and oh my gosh, what a sensation. So much mucus, so much sludge, but oh sweet, merciful air, I can finally breathe you through my nose. Never have I ever taken such an amazing breath in my life. This is a life-changer, unquote. These all-natural solutions trusted by over 3 million people to help you breathe better, sleep deeper, snore less, and stay healthier without drugs. Novant is available at Walmart, CVS, Walgreens, Target, Rite Aid, and online. Novant, N-A-V-A-T-E, clean nose, healthy life. Southern California weather from KFI. Low clouds and fog now until morning. slight chance of rain after midnight, lows in the lower 50s. The wind and surf advisory is tomorrow around 1 o'clock. Let's check traffic near 1 p.m. Let's check traffic near Diamond Bar in the city. 160 westbound to 57 after traffic starting the right lane, getting at the right shoulder to cruise that handle mark. It should be happening fairly shortly. Out no walking as you get by north at Firestone Boulevard, but self-walking away to the off-ramp in the Mill, 4 by south, and Democrats doing a class up speedway stall. That's also on the right shoulder. It turned late on 5 south, close to Bear Road, where that's blocking the 2 left lanes, and I'm going down to a beach 4 by north at 605, that's self-blocking the carpool left lane. Can't find the down the speed there, faster, I'm Zachary Davis. This report is sponsored by Unbound.org. Right now, there are young people across the world facing a tough choice. Continue their dream of education or drop out to help their family put food on the table. You can help change their future in a single moment. See how far your support can go at Unbound.org. Showtime! The Smart Hall Show, March 29th to April 2nd at the One Beach Convention Center, presented by Progressive. Join us as the industry celebrates 75 years of Hall Show excellence. Anchors to fishing tackle, boats, international hunting and fishing launches, off-road trailers, campers, hundreds of seminars, iron dogs, lumberjacks, racing ducks, archery, axe throwing, air gun ranges, kids crafting, and so much more. A full day of family fun. The Smart Hall Show, March 29th to April 2nd at the One Beach Convention Center. Go to hallshows.com. Live from the Hayes bedroom, it's another eventful night for the curious Ron Steve has been struggling with his CPAP. His wife Michelle trying to lead the race. Michelle throws an elbow. He's waiting for the count. He should get inspired. Absolutely, Bruce. Inspires of sleep apnea treatment to give you comfortable, restful sleep with the click of a remote. There's no mask and no hose. Just learn more at InspiredSleep.com. Inspired is not for everyone. Talk to your doctor to see if it's right for you and review important safety information at InspiredSleep.com. On the podcast, Eric Cosmos with David Eagleman, the Stanford neuroscientist explores human behavior. This deep dive into the unexpected facets of our brain science will help you see the world differently. I'm going to explore the relationship between our brains and our experiences by tackling unusual questions. Listen to Inner Cosmos with David Eagleman on the iHeartRadio app or wherever you get your podcast. Your traditional investing aren't so great right now. So how about investing in assets that not only hold their value, but are just outright fun to own? Have you ever wanted a Rolex and never thought you could afford one? I want to suggest Bob's watches. Rolex, Omega, Cartier, Tudor, and a whole lot more. They have them all. Buy, sell, or trade. They have a huge inventory of luxury watches, free overnight shipping on all orders, and a great selection of vintage Rolex watches too. Bob's Watches is a trusted online store to buy or sell modern and vintage luxury pre-owned watches, and all watches are 100% authentic and independently certified. And now you get $200 off. Google Bob's Watches and my name, Bill Handel. Click the link at the top to get the discount automatically applied to your order. Looking to sell your luxury watch? Get a fast and easy quote online from the watch experts. Google Bob's Watches and Bill Handel. Pray.com's Meditative Spirit Podcast is the best way to bring God's perfect peace into your life. Each meditative prayer helps you focus on God, fight anxiety, and sleep better and relax. As you close your eyes, ask God to come and fellowship with you. Open yourself to the Holy Spirit. To listen to meditative prayer on the iHeartRadio app or wherever you get your podcasts. I want to know what happened overnight. I want to know the news of the day, but I also want you not to be ambushed. I want you to get up gently, have a cup of coffee, and let me tell you what's going on. Wake Up Call with Jennifer Jones, live 5 to 6 a.m. on KFI and on demand anytime on the iHeartRadio app. Did I fail? Did I come back? Did I fail? Did I'd like to welcome Instagram followers. We are live on Instagram. If you'd like to follow me on any of my social media, the handle everywhere is at Dr. Wendy Walsh. At Wendy Walsh. If you like following, I will give you my drive-by makeshift relationship advice. Just to let you know, I'm not a therapist. I don't have a license. I'm a psychology professor, but I've been studying and reading the science of love for more than 3 decades, and I am happy to weigh in
with my dynamic relationship in life. Okay, producer Kayla, who do we have first? We have Brooke with a question. Okay, hi Brooke, it's Dr. Wendy. Are you there? Hi Brooke. Hello. Hi. Hi. I can hear you perfectly now. What's the question? My question is, okay, so I did one thing for my partner and I, we kind of went in for the pill because I wasn't attracted to him, but he kind of, kind of switched me on. Yeah, and he wasn't my type or whatever, but basically I've been kind of a child for a while, so he wanted to do that with me. Lo and behold, we had a loss. You had a loss, and you had a pregnancy that didn't make it. Yeah. Okay. We were the term pregnancy. And also, how long ago was this, book? Just a couple months ago. It took a long time for your hormones to get settled and everything and dealing with the loss. I know. You know that. And so basically, since the loss, like he went completely top, like he couldn't handle it. He deserted me emotionally, and he just broke up with me. Look, I'm so sorry. Listen, I just have an instinct, the way you were describing the beginning of this relationship, that he wasn't your type, you weren't attracted to him, but he went for the kill, and he swept you off your feet, and then he became pregnant, and then to have this loss so late in the pregnancy, but really so early in the relationship, right? It's a double grievance. Like you're literally dealing with a double loss. And we also can't judge how other people grieve, right? He's also suffering a loss. He also had, future fantasies of how this child was going to be and what relationship he was going to have with the child. So I want you to try to, first of all, have some empathy for his experience, but also have some empathy for yourself, because this is a double loss. I highly recommend that you find a therapist that you can work with through your grief, because there will be another brighter day for you. And part of the human condition is dealing with loss and having coping strategies in that time. So I highly recommend you reach out to somebody who can help you. I'm just so sorry you're going through this, so thank you for calling me. Thank you. My heart, it breaks my heart. If you'd like to call in, the number is 1-800-520-1534. 1-800-520-1534. Okay, you shy folks, let's go back to social media. Dear Dr. Wendy, my close friend cheated on his ex, and they broke up about a year ago. Years gone by. He and I are starting to fall for each other. He considers her the one who got away. Oh, her and I, sorry, not you. Her and I are starting to fall for each other. He considers her the one who got away. He's not good in relationships. He's a serial cheater. But he's a great friend to me. We're like brothers. He will be mad at me, but I want her so badly. What do I do? The tangled web TV. Look, it's your best friend's ex. I don't know about you, but you get the union card pulled. The boys club union card, the girls club union card. That card gets pulled if you start dating somebody's ex. So basically, you gotta make a decision. You gotta gamble on this romantic relationship, and if it works out, then you got that. Or are you going to keep your friendship with your guy, right? That's a hard decision. But he will be hurt, and he will be angry, and he will probably have a hard time being friends with you, because he's not going to want to socialize with you and the one who got away, right? So I know it's a tough one, but you have to make a decision. One or the other, probably. But if you think you can manipulate it so they both stay all happy, probably not. Probably not. Oh, here's a sexy one. Here's Dr. Wendy. My wife and I used to have threesomes all the time. I always say it's all fun and games until somebody gets hurt. I don't even know what's coming here. I haven't even read the last part of this thing, but I do want to say this about polyamory. We had on our show once the preeminent world researcher on polyamorous couples, and she said that while up to 20% of couples have tried it at one point or another, less than 5% can sustain it. Because, as an evolutionary psychologist would say, we are all wired with something that comes from our ancient past, and it is called sexual jealousy. And so, even, I've read books of people that tried this, and they're talking about the polyamory, and I'm trying to think which guy, the guy that wrote the book, the game, and then later he wrote another book, The Truth, where he basically apologized for writing the game. But he tried the whole let's have two girlfriends thing, and he just got exhausted about the fights over who would get to sit in front of the car. Like literally, it always boils down to who do you love more. Threesomes, when emotions become involved, they tend to not work out. Okay, let me continue. I digress here. My wife and I used to threesomes all the time. She was so sexually adventurous. It was really fun. Yeah, well, maybe she was doing it for you. Now we have two sons, and she doesn't want to have threesomes anymore. Surprise, surprise. She's got a solid relationship with you. She's trying to raise a healthy family. Her hormones have changed. She is amazing, but I fell in love with her because of how sexually free she was. What? How sexually free she was? That's what this is about? Now you're in family life? Dude, I want to say this. Long-term relationships are about stages and stages. And there are going to be times where you're just going to have to keep it in your pants. And you're going to have to relax. Because she is raising your genes. Those are your genes that she's investing in. And if she doesn't want to bring in a threat to your marriage, a potential mate poster, because that's what happens with those threesomes. One of them goes, he seems to not be satisfying him. Maybe I can have him. And the question, do Dr. Wendy, can I get her to have threesomes again? Yes, but you can't change anybody. Okay, we're not in charge of other people. You can't manipulate it. I would say that part of your life is probably in the past, and you better hold those memories in your head, or you're making love to her. You got kids to think about. Think about your kids. Okay, when we come back, can we talk about the Brookfield documentary that's dropping tomorrow on Hulu? Oh, there is some juice in that. You're listening to Dr. Wendy Wells Show on KFI, AM 640. We're live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app. Right now, let's go to Jason Middleton and the 24 Hours KFI Newsroom.
One person has been killed and 3 others have been hurt in a shootout outside of Trader Joe's in West Hills. Police say the shooting happened at a shopping plaza near Fallbrook Avenue and Van Owen Street yesterday. They say it was a result of a drug deal gone wrong. Police say after the shootout, 2 alleged shooters drove away from the scene and were involved in a hit-and-run car crash that hurt another driver. The 2 people were eventually arrested after leaving police on a pursuit. Ukraine has outlined a series of steps the government in Kyiv would take if the country reclaimed control of Crimea. An official says these steps include dismantling the strategic bridge that links the Black Sea Peninsula to Russia. Ukraine's National Security and Defense Council published a plan as Ukraine's military prepares for a spring counteroffensive. Moscow annexed Crimea from Ukraine in 2014, thus most of the world does not recognize it as a Russian territory. Beverly Hillbillies star Buddy Epstein would have turned 115 years old today, and secret from his past have now researched.
Best known for his role as Jed Clampett on the Beverly Hillbillies, Buddy Epstein enjoyed a career that spanned 7 decades. He went on to star in Barnaby Jones, but Epstein's daughter says her dad was originally cast as the Scarecrow and the Tin Man in the Academy Award-winning 1939 film The Wizard of Oz. He had to be dropped from the cast after health complications from the aluminum powder makeup, but his singing voice remains on the song We're Off to See the Wizard. Danielle Emoto, play it by me.
Buddy Epstein was also. We're going to check on traffic in the weekend. Pasadena right after this.
In this week's marketing report, Patricia Sagaleto, Global Chief Marketing Officer, Direct to Consumer for Warner Brothers Discovery, weighs in on the difficult task of building and retaining consumer trust. Trust is a really hard thing to build and a really easy thing to destroy, and we have to be very respectful about that. Our partnership with iHeart has really helped us build that trust and that relationship with the on-air talent. The best thing for us to do is to build a relationship with our consumers. And if those consumers have a relationship with the DJs that are on air, then we want to build House of the Dragon, which is one of our most successful, if not the most successful campaign we've ever done for a show. Audio is a core part of that. It's the #1 audio company. iHeartMedia is marketing access to all. Every audience, live conversations, trusted influencers, and the
insights and data you need to grow. Not just a media company. iHeartMedia is your access company. Go to iHeartResults.com for more. Philadelphia weather from KFI. For LA and OC as we move into sleepy time, low clouds and fog. 20% chance of rain after midnight. Lows in the lower 50s. Tomorrow, low clouds and fog to start. A little bit of chance of rain remains. Highs in the upper 50s to mid 50s. Tuesday and Wednesday, sunny skies. Highs in the mid 50s. Okay, let's check the roads with that. You see an unexpected something in lanes on the 210. It's definitely something that 210 west of Rosie Boulevard in Pasadena. It's a fucking skull vehicle going over the right shoulder. Apparently, 9 cars ran over some potholes in the lane that's caused them to stall out and just be pulled over. And then down at Bar 61, 57, that early crash is cleared. Then the 605 more on the Firestone Boulevard in Norwalk. That's stop walking off red lane. And if you're on the lake on the 5 south, that's Smoky Bear Road. Crash walking the 2 left lanes. And then, on the 101 north of the Eden Coast, that's a couple boxes quoting in the left lane. That traffic back up to the 405. And traffic help still building up northbound at the 405. And if I'm just down, let's get you there faster. I'm Zachary Dagan. At Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm, we know the importance of giving your clients more. More experience, more results, more than 800 lawyers ready to fight for you. Need more reasons? We've recovered more than $15 billion and have more offices nationwide. But don't take our word for it. Check out any of our more than 28,000 five-star Google reviews from our clients. So, if you've been injured at work or in a car accident, remember, you deserve more. And we at Morgan & Morgan are ready to fight to get you just that, more. Don't wait. Dial pound law or visit forthepeople.com for an office near you. I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. When you call America's largest injury firm, you get the backing of a national firm, along with a dedicated team from your community and picked by us. When you need a fighter, you need us. Call America's largest injury law firm. Call Morgan & Morgan. For the people.com. For official rules and more information about content on this station, go to KFIAM640.com/rules. KFI has your inflation compensation with $1,000 from 6 a.m. through 7 p.m. Just looking for the keywords, then enter it at KFIAM640.com/cash. No texting, just winning. Powered by Switch Games Accident Attorneys. It never been accident. Winning is everything. Call the winning attorneys at Switch Games. 800-500-5200. That's 800-500-5200 or SwitchGames.com. Listen to win $1,000 Switch Games from 6 a.m. through 7 p.m. Claim your inflation compensation on KFI AM 640. More stimulating talk. You have Dr. Andy Walsh. You created the Dr. Andy Walsh show. Well, nobody is more excited than me for the Brookfield documentary to drop tomorrow on Hulu. And let me explain why. First of all, Haley, you're a much younger woman. You don't even know who Brookfield is or understand her level of fame. Nope, mic's not on. She's hitting buttons. It's so fun. Yeah, she's sitting over there. I know who she is as like in shows and stuff, but I know that song. I played with her song. I didn't know that she sang before, so I'm learning. She's very talented and done so many things. Yeah. So let me just say that she unfortunately was highly sexualized at a very young age. At a time in our culture where somehow it was acceptable. And so she, I don't know if she did it, her mother had her posed for Playboy at the age of 10. What the hell is the time? Oh yeah, get ready. In the late 70s, this stuff happened. And please don't Google it on the internet. She has spent her life trying to take down those pictures. And some trolls keep putting them back up. So please, do not. I think it's stop it. The TV trolls. It's wrong. She then became a child model. Was very famous, I believe, at the age of 14, posing on billboards for Calvin Klein jeans, and says, nothing comes between me and my Calvin. At 14, okay? Apparently, this documentary, she finally waited. Apparently, when the YouTube movement happened,
she had a story to tell, but she didn't want to be lost in the crowd. Although, look, had you come forward, you would have been named a Time Magazine Person of the Year, along with the likes of me and Taylor Swift and a bunch of other women. The year that Donald Trump got the Time Magazine. They gave it to the Thomas Breakers.
I know
So it would have been wonderful to have you in that sorority. But she wanted to wait. She wanted to wait until she could do the full documentary and tell the whole story. Supposedly, according to the press, the documentary is a dazzling array of old photos and footage from in-depth interviews with Brooksfield. It's the first in our lifestyle entrepreneur, despite being sexualized and objectified at a very young age. Now, apparently the documentary starts tomorrow, so we drop in 2 parts. I don't know what that means. Then we drop it 2 parts on Monday, or one on Monday, one on Tuesday, one on Monday the next Monday. What are we doing? Probably 1 part and then a week later. More than likely. It looks back at how many women were treated in the 1980s and 90s. Brooksfield revealed that she was a victim of a sexual assault by a powerful Hollywood executive. I want to say this because when I came out and talked about some of the things that had happened to me, not everybody felt sorry for me. Because as a culture, we don't feel sorry for pretty girls. Even while we watch them be sexualized, be more likely to be victims of sexual assault as minors. I want to read you part of the trailer. The trailer begins with a 50-something-year-old TV host, Mike Douglas, remember him? He's with the 12-year-old Brookfield in a very lascivious group. I think it's kind of fun.
You're an exquisite-looking young lady. I know you know you're pretty good.
He's entirely of my life. It was a pretty face. Over and over and over and over and over again. And that always just irritates me.
You wouldn't go anywhere that somebody wouldn't know but you. The most photographed woman in the world.
I constantly beauty process of America, sexualized, child model, exploitation, I think Time Magazine as the face of that whole era. Who tried that? Who decided that? You know, he had an acting career as well. He starred in a series called I read somewhere that she's hoping to get another series. Now her kids are grown and she wants to work. Also, she appeared once on the sitcom Friends, and she revealed in the documentary apparently that her husband, at that point, she was married to the tennis great Andre Agassi, and that she broke his trophies in protest after he was in the audience and he said she embarrassed him. She shamed him because her character on Friends actually had to lick another actor's hand. Brookfield was asked by the Associated Press, what was the hardest part to reveal in this documentary? And she said she was worried about the Me Too stuff because she didn't want it to be reduced to a headline. But she knew that if she didn't talk about it, she would feel like a hypocrite or somehow inauthentic. She said it's taken her all these years to tell the story, and she wanted to do it in 2 hours. She talked about, she told Variety magazine that the sexual assault happened at the lowest point of her career. She's a brilliant woman. She was a graduate of Princeton University. She booked a meeting right after graduating with a Hollywood executive. Her meeting took place at the business dinner. The captain's on the job. And the dinner ended with the Hollywood executive giving her the hotel room where he assaulted her. She says, I didn't fight. I froze. And for years, she blamed herself for it. Saying, like, why did I go there? What happened? And you know, people are parroting the things that our culture says. Why were you being a big girl? Why did you go there? You should have known better. And I want you to know that I have great empathy for prostitutes. Because the exact same thing happened to me. And I was an 18-year-old model in Paris. My booker, a young woman at the dressing room, said, oh my God, the owner of the agency noticed you. He wasn't at a meeting at his apartment tonight. He's going to look at your portfolio. He has the power to make or break you. And I went there because I was 18 years old, and I trusted every adult in the world up until that point. No adult had let me down. This is all I knew. And when I went there was no business meeting. There was champagne. He tried to offer me drugs, which I didn't take, but he used alcohol as a weapon. And when he assaulted me, I froze like Brookfield did. He surrounded me on his arm. 17-year-old, 18-year-old girl who had had a meal all day, well, because the first photo is grown man is always younger than me. Women are often safe for the free. Nothing. I was with that thing for 40 years, and you can the Guardian, the whole story. If you just Google the word Wendy Walsh, the Guardian, Dawn Marie, you understand. But I'm so excited to see Brooke come forward and tell the story because I want young men, young people working in the entertainment industry and the fashion industry. Times are different, and we don't exclude men and sexualize them. I want to close by saying one last thing about this show. I want to hear politics. And when I was co-hosting I was sent on assignment to New York because they got a dispute. Brooke Shields, whom Brooke was separated from his son at the time, and was a non-alcoholic, had invited us into her to show up and was going to do a whole chronology of Brooke's career. And I went there because it was my job, because I was paid to be there with a camera crew. And when we arrived at the townhouse in New York, this woman was clearly intoxicated. She was clearly in pain, having separated from Brooke. She clearly wanted connection with her daughter again. She was a momager long before the Kardashians had a momager. And she was showing us all these personal photos about Brooke. And I was really crazy. I just wanted to get out of there, and I did not want to do this story. And I was trapped. I didn't have a choice. I was earning my living, and that was my standard. So I'm so sorry, Brooke. I was also a young girl, and I had to do a job. And I didn't quite fill. Luckily, I got out of that. Anyway, from one night long, little while, whenever the second episode was all I watched it. And I'm glad that you're being brave. I good. I did have son of a okay, when we come back, we always talk about red flags. Right? Watch out. Somebody went off up in the back. I feel like her legs. Have you ever thought about how you might be still red flags? Look at the thought. And it's going to live everywhere. I mean, I hardly know out right now. Let's go to the 24 hours AFI newsroom. And just a little bit.
Congress extended the National Guard. This is how the police are at the ready for former President Trump's arraignment in Manhattan this week. Senator Chris says a federal assault rifle ban is unlikely. On CBS's Face the Nation today, the Connecticut Democrat explains that due to a lack of congressional support. At least 30 people are dead after a major storm system slammed large parts of the country over the past few days. 13 of those deaths alone in Tennessee. We'll check on the crash in Boyle Heights right after this. The Manawak Days is a brand new fiction podcast that narrates supernatural horror storytelling with an immersive psychological thriller. You need to uncover the scary stories and secrets that hold drug caves themselves. Without monsters, there are no victims. No prosecution. No defense. Listen to the Manawak Days at MANCAWAUK on the iHeartRadio app or wherever you get your podcast. Southern California weather from KFI. Low clouds and fog until morning. Light chance of rain after midnight. Lows in the lower 50s. Tomorrow there is a wind and turbulence free that moves in around 1 o'clock. Let's check traffic near Boyle Heights. Looks like Zachary sees a crash on the flash. Whenever I come down to East Travis Avenue, I would want to see that traffic backing up to Main Street and Broadway. Due to a crash blocking in the Canal 105 South and Dedicated Street at the stall on the right shoulder. One is in the 105 South Brookville Road, and a crash blocking the third divider on the left lane. And Canal 101 north at Haydenhurst, and the boxes of clothing that's still down to the lanes of the left lane more specifically with travel backed up to 405. In Orange County, Fountain Valley, 405 South of Street got a hit and run crash to the right shoulder. I'm Zachary Dagan. This report is sponsored by Unbound.org. Right now, there are young people across the world facing a tough choice: continue their dream of education or drop out to help their families put food on the table. You can help change the future in a simple moment. See how far your support can go at Unbound.org. Whether you own a local business or a global one, you're always looking for ways to efficient the operation to create opportunity. And Amazon Manufacturing, with Bank of America, you get access to experts, award-winning insights, and business solutions so powerful you'll suddenly move matter. Local what do you call it? Visit Bank of America. They have a fucking to learn more. What would you like the power to do? Copyright 2022 Bank of America. If you own a small business, you've probably been hearing a lot about the ERC. When we're calling about transfer employee, how easy it is to do it. So why am I still talking to you about it now? Because many of you still haven't filed a claim. But Innovation Refunds can help you close the look on this thing. They're backed by one of those big CPA firms the corporations use. So they can determine once and for all if you is qualified. And it's free to find out. Go to innovationrefunds.com. That's innovationrefunds.com.
Over my day, it was like, oh my, you're still, but little, not your strong, not your darkness, your life is filling, not any of it. It's a straight up bed from honestly. It's not like you're like really just at all.
I have no hat left.
No, you still stand on it.
I feel it because I don't have any hair. Looking for my hat. I mean, they're all gone. It's like socks in a dryer.
No.
It's gone. I just gave you a hat for Christmas. Yeah, I don't know where I put it.
Only incredible amounts of personal
because they still keep it in the same plastic. I don't know where it is.
It's almost like my
on KFI. And on demand anytime on the iHeartRadio app.
kind of what it's doing to the world.
Just across the bar, not taking about the sunglasses. Asking about the bar. I know
I remember it was about 4 people who graduated.
I know you said
Is it? And I like it.
The only thing working in this place was my microphone. Funny. All right, so I'm a big believer in red flags. And I wrote, the first book I wrote is called The Boyfriend Test, How to Evaluate His Potential Before You Use Your Heart. And that's essentially a book about red flags. And the reason why this is important is because many people do not have a healthy model for love. And they don't actually know what they want. They don't know if someone's safe or not. And so they put up with a lot of stuff, but they don't know how to recognize the red flags on love's way course, right? A warning sign that maybe somebody's simply unhappy, right? So, as our guest earlier, Dr. Courtney Warren said, we get addicted to the all those neurohormones at the beginning, and we actually don't see the person as having any flaws at all. And then, if that's goes into it, we start to see the flaws. And people who don't understand red flags don't move away and they see those red flags. Healthy people do. They go, oh, that's it. I'm on my way now. I do my assessment period. So, if you do have red flags, and you write them down, they can protect you from repeating painful patterns. Common red flags? Lying. Somebody lying? That's a big red flag. Constant put down? Why do they need to put you down? Right? Why? And unwillingness to compromise. Right? Compromise is what relationships are all about. Avoiding difficult conversations. I would say just dismissing you when you try to bring up something a little bit sensitive. That's a red flag.
You're an upstairs person?
Or controlling you. If I tell you what to wear,
maybe my first
it's one thing to say, hey, hockey, hockey's the arena. talking
I give them the chili.
well, the arena is the ice. The arena is the play. Oh, where they play. Yeah. Yeah. So like, hey, hockey arena is kind of cold. You might want to bring a sweater. That's okay. But I want you to.
No one's ever mentioned it in all of the lore.
People are asking about that.
No, it's
And you're like, well, you want to say what? I do not want to say that, but excessive jealousy. As you know, somebody who went on a business trip recently to Europe with her business people and decided to take an extra couple days for herself, and she met a couple of other young people, not her other colleagues to hang with, and her boyfriend of less than 6 months. It's like, where's going to this? Why do you really go down? What kind of jealousy? That's a big red flag. Here's a red flag that I used to when I met my Julio. One of the earliest things I said is, let's meet some friends. I always want to meet the friends. Because if they don't have friends, that's a red flag. And I know there are a lot of lone wolves out there. Guys out there with no friends. Guys get some friends for you guys, right? Why do they have no friends? That's the question. Are they unlikable? Have they destroyed their relationship? Do they have trouble connecting with others? What is it? And also, another red flag is if they don't show support for you and the relationship. It's supposed to be each other's cheerleaders. You're supposed to be competing with each other. Okay. Now, if you have to know red flags, then you're going to have what's called a deal breaker, and you're not going to go forward in your relationship. Have you ever thought, what if somebody else's red flag? When we had Dr. Warren on earlier, she brought me a book. Let me show you that. But she also brought me another book, I love this, called Lies We Tell Ourselves, The Psychology of Self-Deception. Da-da-da-da. And I think that we all think we're the perfect mate, and the problem is with everybody else. Right? That's what you hear all the time. And if you want to figure out if you are a red flag, or what your red flags might be to others, spend some time observing yourself. Literally, take a few days. Notice what things are going on with you and how you're behaving. If you're feeling hurt, are you defensive because of it? Are you extra protective because of your feelings of hurt or pain? Some people have a very low tolerance for pain. They get easily embarrassed, and so the way they cover their feelings of pain is to laugh out at other people, to be defensive in some way. Ask yourself what's triggering you and why. And if you have not done the work of taking care of your own unhealed trauma, you need to find a therapist. All right, here's a quick list of examples of some possible red flags that you might have. Just for brainstorming purposes here. I'm not saying you have them. But if you have one or two of these things, all right, number one, you get quiet when you're upset rather than communicate openly. I know your family of origin taught you not to express your feelings, or that your anger was dangerous, or that whatever, it was weakness to cry, whatever it may be. But you can't have a relationship unless you're there, unless you come out of yourself, right? So if you just get quiet when you're upset, then nobody can connect with you. Because the real building of intimacy happens during the rupture. I always say that intimacy is a path that is created with a series of ruptures followed by repair. But you can't talk about it, you can't make those repairs. You can't know them. Look, if you say all the people you meet take advantage of you, you know what? You give them permission to. You give people permission how to do that. And I know people are saying, well, that's what I told them. I told them not to, and they still do it. Well, if you survive the consequences. Telling somebody to behave in a certain way is just setting the boundary. Enforcing the boundary is you saying, by the way, the next time I hear all these attacks, I'm going to walk out of my house. You don't have to do it. I have to do it in the morning. The consequences are
the guy from that video who was accused of sexual harassment.
Oh, this one I used to do. That's what I have to do. This website. You don't even try to make your partner jealous.
And that bitch from fucking AT&T looks a lot like a lot.
The reason why I get to use this microphone is not only because I have a PhD in psychology, not only because I had 18 years of therapy education, but because I'm you and I've made the same mistakes. Okay. So, if you still use, have you ever done this? Other than phone number down? So you'll try to find them with the name. I took it one step further. I would save my girlfriend's numbers on the guy's name and tell them to call me. So I'll give them the guy. The whole thing stuff. Wow, that's a good one. That's so manipulative and so wrong and so unhealthy. No. Okay, one time in a bar, I met Dennis Rodman. Do you know who that is? Or yeah. Okay. Of course. I stayed made out with him in the back of the lesbian strip club in West Hollywood. I know, all weird. I was young. Yeah, whatever. And so gave me his phone number on a napkin. And I left it in my cup holder because I knew my ex-boyfriend was borrowing my car the next day. Wrong, don't do it. We're telling you what not to do, okay? This is a red flag. I was undateable at that time. Trying to make that clear. I was not healthy. That's our point. Okay, I just did the next one. You raised your voice easily. I didn't raise my voice here because I wanted to make a very clear point, but I don't think I do it in a, well, oh man, I'm never wrapping up already. Oh no. All right, do you have trouble trusting others? Up, and you need some therapy because that's a big red flag if you don't trust the people that you date. All right, I love you all, and I love being here every Sunday from 7 to 9 p.m. But you can get more of me during the week. All you have to do is follow my social media on TikTok, Instagram. We have a super private exclusive Zoom room on my Patreon. A lot of anti-listeners there. That is patreon.com/Dr. Wendy Walsh. And it would be my pleasure to meet you in person, or at least on Zoom. You've been listening to the Dr. Wendy Walsh Show on KFI AM 640. We're live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app.
If you find yourself agreeing with everything we say, we're doing it wrong.
That's fine.
KOST HD2.
Los Angeles, Orange County.
Live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app. Drive-in shopping. I'm Jason Middleton, live in the 24-hour newsroom. A man has been arrested for crashing into a shopping mall in Glendale during the day. The Glendale Police Department says officers tried to pull the man over yesterday morning because he was driving a stolen car. The driver led police on a pursuit for 10 minutes before crashing into a building at the Americana Mall. The man allegedly barricaded himself inside the car for about half an hour before trying to run away when he was arrested. A new exhibit at the Ronald Reagan Library features more than 700 artifacts from Auschwitz. Officials say not long ago, not far away, to be the most attended exhibit in the library's 30-plus-year history. Dr. Michael Berenbaum is the curator and says the exhibit features actual concrete posts that were part of the fence at Auschwitz, fragments of an original prisoner's barracks, a gas mask sits in front of the library's entrance. I always start backwards. You ask me how I create an exhibition, I always say, you have to answer 4 questions. What, where, with what, and how. I was there while the exhibit was being set up, and it shows actual Nazis that execute and bury a Jew without ever touching them. I want visitors to come out of this exhibition with the commitment that Auschwitz should become long ago and far away, and not in any way, manner, or form part of the world in which you and I live. The Berenbaum says this is not for younger kids. The show runs through the end of April, and it's expected to completely sell out. He's correctly KFI News. All aboard, everybody. The Queen Mary is accepting reservations for overnight stays since its closing during the pandemic.
The ship will reopen its doors to guests who can stay in its historic staterooms once again. The dock vessel was shut down for COVID and for critical restoration. The Donna Beach resident Kate Mary says she hopes the ship attracts all of the visitors. She went there for Wednesday, which I was not aware that they did that, but it is something that we tested out and loved it, and I hope they bring it back. The Queen Mary is open for tours this weekend, but the hotel portion of the ship won't be accessible until May 12th. Ticket and reservation information is available online at queenmary.com. In Long Beach, Chris Adams, KFI News.
Former President Trump should not take the stand to the hush money case against him in New York. That's according to former Attorney General Bill Barr. Hearing on Fox News Sunday, he said that's because Trump lacks all self-control. Let's check traffic. Zachary 5 to stall here in Highland Park. On the 110 South Avenue 43, that's stall 6W. That's traffic. A little close from Avenue 52. On the side south after Stevens Travis Avenue, the whole first street of Royal Heights. They're quite spot in the 2 left lanes of traffic backing up to Main Street and Broadway. On the 14 north of St. Louis Road, Toledo, motorcycle cars are picking up the right shoulder. Impacted United Beach and West and Roseland Boulevard. Got a real weird situation. 9
and happens like I was looking for instruction. And then in Anaheim, I built a job. People taking a discovery money. If I'm a child, we'll see you there faster. I'm Zachary Davis. But it's cookie good. I'm Martin Coach, the inventor of Navage Nasal Care, and I love Navage. I told you about how your nose is the body's care filter. The Navage's powered suction will help flush out allergies, viruses, mucus, and germs, and that Navage will help you breathe better. But what do other people say about Navage? Like Haley, quote, Navage is the best thing I bought. I love it. My nose feels so clear now and I can breathe. I've been struggling with a stuffy nose for weeks. I bought Navage, and it's amazing. For this one, I use Navage every night, could not imagine life without it. I have 5 cats, and before I found Navage, I was a closet mess. Now I breathe so much better. Unquote. Those are two of over 100,000 online reviews praising Navage. The all-natural solution trusted by over 3 million people to help you breathe better, sleep deeper, snore less, and stay healthier without drugs. Navage is available at Walmart, CVS, Walgreens, Target, Rite Aid, and online. Navage, N-A-V-A-G-E, clean nose, healthy life. Southern California weather from KFI. For LA and OC tonight, low clouds and fog until morning. 20% chance of rain after midnight. Tomorrow, low clouds and fog in the morning again, then it gets sunny. I think that was mid-60s. There is a wind and surf advisory tomorrow, starting at 1 o'clock. Right now, Steel Beach is 57 degrees. Orange is 56. Woodlandsville 55 and altitude is 63. We lead local. Live from the KFI 24-hour newsroom on Jason Middle. KFI AM 240. We're everywhere on the iHeartRadio app. You're listening to Before the Coast, training stories from the iHeart Vault. I am Clay Rowe. Tonight, we showcase the podcast Grim and Mild Presents. You may already know Aaron Mason from his popular podcast For More, or even Cabinet of Curiosities, which we've showcased here before. Tonight, another one of the unusual shows presented and executive produced by Aaron Mason. Grim and Mild Presents is an ongoing exploration of history's most unusual and macabre themes. Each 13-episode season unpacks a new topic, and tonight, we're going to be sampling Season 1, Side Show. It's all about the history behind one of America's most bizarre institutions, the Traveling Sideshow. From episode 12 entitled Murder in Gibtown, here's Grim and Mild Presents on Before the Coast, Strange Stories from the iHeart Vault on KFI AM 640. This episode includes stories of domestic violence. Listener discretion is advised. Death rarely stops children. Quite the opposite sometimes. It actually encourages them. You've heard about a few sideshow stars who were put on stage after they died, like Jumbo the Elephant or Julia Pastrana and her child. But really, it was some of the smallest oddities that caused a big scandal. Pickled Post, as they were known, had long been the sideshow standard. So by the 1970s, people were reconsidering the attraction of formaldehyde-suspended fetuses in the jar. The times were changing, see? A cultural shift was happening, and you only had to look toward Gibtown, Florida for proof. Sideshow performers have been flocking to Gibtown, as they call it, for decades. It had been a small bit of Eddie LeMay, were the first carnival book to visit in 1924, a trip spent camping and fishing. They told their friends, a lot of them actually, and by 1945 the town had grown by hundreds of residents, many of which were from the sideshow. These new arrivals would change the DNA of the town. Special zoning laws. The post office had a counter low enough for people with work with them. The bar had chairs built perfectly sized for the comfort of large babies and giants alike. Gibtown had the air of a family reunion. When performers settled back in after a long season on the circuit, tongues would wag, beer would flow, and babies at business deals would be made. Gibtown was their winter wonderland. It was home, a refuge from the prying eyes of the outside world. The But as the era of the American sideshow began to sunset, conflict began to arise between two worlds, those on the inside and those on the outside. The lights of the town began to dim, and the cracks began to show. The broader world was beginning to question, reject, and outlaw much of what had been part and parcel of the sideshow. Elements that had in decades past drugged crowds willing to part with their hard-earned money, cultural institutional savings, and those dollars were becoming more difficult to come by. It was at this moment, amidst all this change, that the pickled punks took center stage as the flashpoint for national controversy. You see, back in the day, it wasn't uncommon to find jarred human body parts in curiosity cabinets. There was so little known about the body for so long, and hungry minds wanted to know its secrets. Over time, these jars make a leap from private settings and into the hands of the public for titillation and consumption, and of course, for profit. But by the 1970s, several states had passed legislation banning transportation of human remains across state lines. Soon, laws were on the books that eventually outlawed even the possessing of them. And this is where we find legendary showman and Gibsontown resident Ward Hall. In 1977, he was operating what he'd like to call the Street Baby Show, and it was exactly what you might imagine it to be. For 75 cents, visitors had the pleasure of viewing malformed jarred fetuses, a fish baby, a frog boy and girl, a cyclops baby, Siamese twins. You get the idea. There were warnings attached to each one, suggesting that the abnormalities were a result of the mother's moral failing, and it billed itself as a non-profit educational exhibit to boot. Ward's collection was being exhibited at County Fair in Illinois by his partner, E.M. Christ, but the law would intervene. Police raided the exhibit and confiscated the pump. E.M. was arrested on charges of illegal possession of human remains and was questioned about where he had gotten them and who they were. He would later be acquitted, citing that a similar exhibit had appeared at the Chicago World's Fair in 1933. But while CM was set free, the punks remained in police custody. Just a few weeks later, and several hundred miles to the south, local police raided Ward's storage facilities in Gibsontown. They found two punks that had not previously been confiscated in Illinois, so a warrant was issued for his arrest. According to newspaper articles from the time, a total of, and I quote, 13 unborn babies and embryos floating in jars of formaldehyde were discovered and confiscated at his property, which the article described as a carnival man's backyard. He was able to get the charges dropped, but similar raids kicked off across the country. As these exhibits were forced to close, people found themselves without livelihood. Once these collections, it was just getting harder and harder to make a living in the sideshow. By the end of that year, the issue was put to a close. Well, sort of. On a November day and under a blue sky, a single vault was opened. People stood somberly in black. In the thick of that quiet, tiny foam caskets were lowered into the ground, a funeral for these so-called carnival babies. The Reverend presiding proclaimed that with the burial, and I quote, "We also bury the idea that human life should be a grotesque spectacle, that human life is cheap or to be exploited." Ironic then, that the funeral itself was meant to be a spectacle. You see, the event was photographed and highly publicized in national newspapers. It got a lot of lawmakers talking. Even in shutting down these exhibits, it seems, a glimpse of such specimens, or at least their caskets, still attracted a lot of attention, for better or for worse, from the American public. It seems that despite the very public outcry, it still couldn't help but look. I'm Aaron Macy, and welcome to the Sideshow. Brady's sign was perched on his bar stool. In fact, it seems that he had gotten away with a lot in his life. He drained his glass down his throat and felt his body grow warm. Brady had nowhere to be. He had nowhere he wanted to be, really. He signaled for a fresh round with his claw, and the bartender poured him another stiff drink. The other barflies didn't like him much. He was a mean drunk, but he was also a legend, as famous as he was infamous. He had a reputation that reached far beyond Florida's stormy spring skies and bleak expanse of U.S. Route 41. Gibsontown, where we find Grady here, was once a spectacle itself. So by the 1990s, this town had faded and grayed, along with many of its stars. And it wasn't just that some had faded. Some had been overshadowed by darkness. Grady Stiles Jr. had been born into a sideshow family in 1937. His body was home to extragasoline, a rare congenital deformity that fused his fingers and claws and gave him truncated legs that ended at his knees. You see, the Stiles could trace their claws back generations and had become something of a sideshow circus legend. And for his family, more offspring meant more dollars. The Lobster family, as they were known, moved to the Gibsontown area in 1944. Around the same time, young Grady left school to join the family act. But his role on stage as Lobster Boy wasn't much. He just sat in a chair and waved his claws at spectators when they came to see him. It's hard to know exactly what made Grady mean, what turned him. Maybe he was ostracized when he was small, until he found home in Gibsontown. There, he was just like any other sideshow kid, and his family was just like everyone else. He often got around in a wheelchair, but just as easily used his upper body strength to move across the floor at an alarming speed. He grew strong and dexterous, roughhousing with his friends, charming the girls, and even learning to fire a pistol. And like Chekhov, Grady always liked his gun, a passion that would come back to haunt him. He got married a few times and started a family with one of those wives. His marriage to Mary Teresa had always been volatile. He ruled his house with an iron claw. His wife and his children were often on the receiving end of his rape cell. So when his eldest daughter, Donna, announced at 15 that she was pregnant and marrying her beau, Grady had some opinions and an idea. The day before their wedding, and 12 whiskey doubles later, Grady invited his future son-in-law, Jack, into the house for a chat. Jack obliged. The last decision he was ever made. Donna was the first to hear the shots ring out. In a moment, Jack was stumbling out of the house, blood pouring from his chest, and fell down right in the doorway. Grady had shot him. Donna ran to him and looked up to find Grady gloating. "I told you I would," he said, and then Donna screamed. To his credit, Grady waited patiently for the police to arrive. "Take me. I'm ready," he told them, surrendering his wrist and his gun to them. He went to trial, and there he readily admitted to his deed. He carried no remorse. For him, this was wholly an act of practicality. He simply didn't want his daughter marrying that guy. The jury deliberated for 3 hours, and after that, Grady was sentenced to only 15 years probation. The authorities believe that because of Grady's compounding set of physical conditions, cirrhosis from drinking, emphysema from smoking, and his ectodecomy, he wouldn't be able to receive the adequate care behind bars. They thought keeping him locked up would be cruel. He quickly skipped town and took the money that he owed to his lawyer and used it to assemble his own 10-in-1 sideshow. But he wouldn't be gone for long. All sideshow roads lead back to Gibtown, after all. And that's exactly how he found himself atop his familiar barstool on that humid May night. With his cab running up and the night winding down, Grady closed out and took his leave. He headed home to his brown trailer on Inglewood Drive, his family's least favorite time of the day. They would never truly grow accustomed to his inevitable drunk arrival. He and Mary Teresa had been divorced at one time. The abuse had become too much. But at this point, they were 1 year into their second marriage to each other. Grady had promised to change, you see. He had managed to charm her again. He had been on his best behavior, and he hoped that these changes were real. And if don't have it, die hard, as they say. And within 2 weeks of their new union, Grady had turned back into a monster.
You're listening to Aaron Macy's Coast, Strange Stories from the iHeart Vault. We'll have more from Grim and Mild Presents coming up next on KFI. Time now for a news update. Live from the KFI 24-hour newsroom, I'm Jason. Saudi Arabia and Russia are among a number of countries that announced voluntary oil production cutbacks today. Starting in May, lasting until December, cutting half armed guards at every school in the state. Lottery numbers, as in jackpot. Tomorrow's Powerball is up to $159 million. Tuesday's Mega Millions, that's worth $385 million. Okay, we're going to check traffic right after this. In this week's Marketers Report, Patricia Spanioletta, Global Chief Marketing Officer, Direct-to-Consumer for Warner Brothers Discovery, weighs in on building trust. Trust is a really hard thing to build and a really easy thing to destroy, and and we have to be very respectful about that. Our partnership with iHeart has really helped us build that trust and that relationship with the online talent. As the #1 audio company, iHeart Music gives marketers access to the audience's conversations, trusted influencers, insights, and data. All right, let's check traffic. I think Zachary's got us an update on the 405. And the hills on the 405 south of Devon Tires. Devon Tires 3, so that's a small extend with the right shoulder. And then we've got a blue light in the 5 south after Susan Chavez Avenue. That large crash has cleared and all lanes have reopened. A stall on the young ramp on the 110 South Avenue 43 and Highland Park from Abbey Racing Avenue 52. This Dermot Lake on the 5 south of Smokeville Road. That's a crash blocking the center divider in the left lane. Stay up in the sky, up to either faster. I'm Zachary Hagan.
Victory Portage, sponsored by Family Dollar. Shop in the spring and save more at Family Dollar. Set you up with beautiful dresses and bumpers at great prices. And welcome guests to tasty snacks, beverages, and a variety of ice cream. Family Dollar, helping you do more.
Your traditional investments aren't so great right now. So how about investing in assets that not only hold their value, but are just outright fun to own? Have you ever wanted a Rolex and never thought you could afford one? Let me suggest Bob's watches. Rolex, Omega, Cartier, Tudor, and a whole lot more. They have them all. Buy, sell, or trade. They have a huge inventory of luxury watches, free overnight shipping on all orders, and a great selection of vintage Rolex watches, too. Bob's Watches is a trusted online store to buy or sell modern and vintage luxury pre-owned watches, and all watches are 100% authentic and independently certified. And now you get $200 off. Google Bob's Watches and my name, Bill Handel. Click the link at the top to get your discount automatically applied to your order. Looking to sell your luxury watch? Get a fast and easy quote online from watch experts. Google Bob's Watches and Bill Handel. At Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm, we know the importance of giving our clients more. More experience, more results, more than 800 lawyers ready to fight for you. Need more reasons? We've recovered more than $16 billion and have more offices nationwide. But don't take our word for it. Check out any of our more than 28,000 five-star Google reviews from our clients. So, if you think injured at work or in a car accident, remember, you deserve more. And we at Morgan & Morgan are ready to fight to get you just that, more. Don't wait. Dial Pound Law or visit porterpeople.com for an office near you. I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. When you call America's largest injury firm, you get the backing of a national firm, along with a dedicated team from your community handpicked by us. When you need a fire, you need us. Call America's largest injury law firm. Call Morgan & Morgan for the people.com.
Pray.com Meditative Prayer Podcast is the best way to bring God's perfect peace into your life. This meditative prayer helps you focus on God, fight anxiety, sleep better, and relax.
Close your eyes. Acknowledge concept of open yourself to the Holy Spirit.
Listen to Meditative Prayer on the iHeart Radio app or wherever you get your podcasts.
No, we're not going to normalize it. No, there's nothing really people riding the train crossed over, passed out from the truck. I don't care if they don't step. They don't belong there. It's a quality of life thing. It's pretty simple. And I think quality of life is extremely important. John and Ken, obviously nothing is said, but more important, live 1 to 4 p.m. on KFI and on demand anytime on the iHeart Radio app. KFI AM 640 heard everywhere on the iHeart Radio app. I'm Clay Rowe, and you're listening to Before the Coast. Dreams Still Present. It's not every day that someone gets cut up and reassembled, but Mary Teresa Hershon lived for it. She got her sideshow start as a ticket seller, but soon graduated to the Zigzag Girl act, where she wowed audiences by getting sliced up into thirds. But this was harmless fun, after all, an illusion. There was not a drop of blood shed, nor any bandage needed. It was off stage, though, away from the bright lights and the carnival barkers, that she took on her most fearsome role, very dangerous thing. The statistics tell us as much. Current studies say that 1 in 4 women will be the victims of severe physical violence at the hands of their intimate partner. 1 in 5 will experience sexual violence. 1 in 7 will be stalked. And studies tell us that the presence of a gun in a domestic violence situation increases the risk of homicide by
500%. That isn't to say that people who aren't women don't experience abuse. They do. But the majority of the world's social and economic systems have long favored cis men with female partners, putting women who pair with men into vulnerable situations. If we can trace the precedent for men's physical domination over women back to Hammurabi, back to the Quran, back to the Roman Empire, back to Old English common law that suggested a laying hands as a corrective measure. Historically, there have been a lot of rules that have spelled out what was allowed to go on in the home. And what was going on in Mary Teresa's home had been for years. It was something people knew, but only whispered about. She had been wooed by the lobster boy one spring day in Trenton, New Jersey back in 1959. Sparks flew, and their lives were set on a course from which they would never turn back. If their trailer was Brady's castle, it was Mary Teresa's prison. The ensnared people labored to raise a family and to protect them from their father. He loved him fiercely at times, and we can wonder if he loved her too. What we do know is that he wanted to control her, a desire exercised through his use of strips and threats to kill again. But this time, he threatened that it would be her. So when Grady ambled home from the bar that night, sufficiently inebriated and agitated, Mary Teresa and their daughter Kathy found themselves directly in his line of fire. Kathy, also born with ectrodactyly and 7 months pregnant, had long positioned herself as the protector of her mother. She wouldn't have continued to stay with the side provoke. Grady flew into a whiskey-soaked rage. He started beating Mary Teresa. Kathy tried to intervene from her wheelchair, yelling that her father preferred the bottle to his family. And then, he turned his anger on her. Grady started in on her hard, pummeling her in the arms, the jaw, and eventually knocking her around so much that she fell from her chair. A fleshy thud knocked the wind from Kathy's lungs. It felt like hammers coming down on her bones. The pain was white and blinding, the shocks reverberating through her entire skeleton. She fought back, of course, but nothing could be done until Grady decided that he was finished. Kathy barely slept after the attack that night. She didn't say anything about the pain until she started hemorrhaging the next morning. She rushed to the hospital. Kathy told the doctor who performed her emergency C-section that she had simply fallen out of her wheelchair. Did he believe her? Probably not. Baby's placenta had separated from the umbilical cord, and Kathy's water had broken as a result of the violence. Baby Misty came into the world on May 6th of 1990, and she was healthy. And she, too, was born with lobster claws. It's hard to know exactly when Mary Teresa decided that enough was enough. What we do know, though, is that there was an immense amount of courage and strength that it took on the part of both of these women to stand up for each other in the face of such terror. After decades of torment, of living in a vortex of violence, with bloodshed just as likely as tears, Mary Teresa knew at some point that this had to end. And she didn't want to be the one who went first.
You're listening to Aaron Macy's Grim and Mild Presents on Before the Code, strange stories from the iHeart Vault. We'll have more from Grim and Mild Presents coming up next on KFI. Time now for a news update. From KFI 24-hour newsroom, I'm Jason Middleton. One person has been killed and 3 others have been hurt in a drug-related shootout outside of Trader Joe's in L.A. Police say they believe at least 2 people opened fire during a fight in the store parking lot in Westfield. They say the 2 attackers were arrested after a police pursuit yesterday.
We believe that we have everyone involved in this incident either detained or at the hospital.
LAPD Deputy Chief Alan Hamilton says it's possible that some of the people hurt in the shooting may be arrested as the investigation moves forward. He said 2 guns have been recovered in connection with the attack. Applications are open for single moms in El Monte for the city's Guaranteed Income Program. The program is intended to help single mothers impacted by the COVID-19 pandemic. Women selected will get $500 a month for a year. The program is being funded with American Rescue Plan Act money. The city has put requirements on who can apply, including that women show a verified income at or below the federal poverty line. Women will also have to prove they are financially hurt by the pandemic. Almighty has partnered with a nonprofit research group that will help manage the program. Applications are open through the middle of April. Lloyd Crowley, KFI News. Ukraine has outlined a series of steps the government includes would take if the country reclaims control of Crimea. Ukraine's National Security and Defense Council published the plan
prepared for a free counter-offensive. Moscow annexed Crimea from Ukraine in 2014, but most of the world does not recognize it as Russian territory. Okay, we're going to get traffic from San Bernardino right after this.
In this chief marketing report, Patricia Sanulero, Global Chief Marketing Officer, Direct to Consumer for Warner Brothers Discovery, weighs in on the difficult task of building and retaining consumer trust. Trust is a really hard thing to build and a really easy thing to destroy, and we have to be very respectful about that. Our partnership with iHeart has really helped us build that trust and that relationship with the owner and talent. The best thing for us to do is to build a relationship with our consumers. And if those consumers have a relationship with the DJs that are on air, then we want to build on that. House of the Dragon, which was one of our most successful, if not the most successful campaign we've ever done for a show, audio is a core part of that. It's the #1 audio company. iHeartMedia gives marketers access to all. Every audience, live conversations, trusted influencers, and the insights and data you need to grow. Not just a media company. iHeartMedia is your access company. Go to iHeartResults.com for more.
Southern California weather from KFI. For LA and OC, low clouds and fog overnight, 20% chance of rain after midnight, lows in the low 50s. Tomorrow, low clouds and fog in the morning, then sunny, highs in the upper 50s to mid-60s. Tuesday and Wednesday, mostly sunny all day long. Let's check the roads with that. If you can to San Bernardino to be exact. Another Tuesday to East Highland Avenue and Arden Avenue, that's the classic at the right lane of the off-ramp, the emergency cruise on the street here. There's a whole path up the mountain on the 15 south between Oakville Road and Sherwood Avenue to 138 is south and heavy from Lone Pine Canyon Road and to be past the waves all the way up to that area. Encouraging number 110 south at the 91 express blocking the Snakey Road and the 405 south at 75 Street of Mission Hills. But not the stall that's blocking the right shoulder. But the Barn Woods County, 57 south at the 22, that's a stable vehicle picking up the right lane. They are behind the sky, let's get you there faster. I'm Dr. Dagan. Live from the Hayes bedroom, it's another eventful night for us. The curious Ron Steve has been struggling with his feedback. His wife Michelle is trying to leave the rain. Michelle throws an elbow. He's leaving for the couch. He's to get inspired. Absolutely, bro. He's tired of sleep apnea treatment that gives you comfortable, restful sleep with a click of a remote. There's no mask and no host, you guys. Learn more at InspiredSleep.com. Inspired is not for everyone. Talk to your doctor to see if it's right for you and review important safety information at InspiredSleep.com. Showtime! The Smart Hall Show, March 29th to April 2nd at the Long Beach Convention Center, presented by Progressive. Join us as the industry celebrates 75 years of Hall Show excellence. Anchors to safety tackle, boats, international hunting and fishing lodges, off-road trailers, campers, hundreds of seminars, iron dogs, lumberjacks, racing ducks, archery, axe throwing, air gun ranges, kids casting, and so much more. A full day of family fun. The Smart Hall Show, March 29th to April 2nd at the Long Beach Convention Center. Go to hollishows.com. This is Jacob Amon. If you've been involved in a motorcycle accident, call 844-24-JACOB. You should choose your air purifier like your life depends on it because, well, it's just money. The recent Ohio chemical disaster showed us toxic air threatens our health. ViralRabbi is the next generation in home air purification. It's specifically designed to wipe out airborne viruses, germs, and the chemicals known to cause allergies, illness, and difficulty breathing. The toxic fumes from the recent train derailment were no match for ViralRabbi. A single ViralRabbi unit removed 99% of the dangerous compounds that were found in the homes near the chemical disaster. If it can clean the air after a toxic spill, imagine how it can help keep your family healthy. Only ViralRabbi comes with a free air quality monitor. Visit ekpure.com and use the promo code Conway for 10% off your ViralRabbi home purification unit. Plus, you get the free air quality monitor and fast free shipping. That's $150 savings. Visit ekpure.com, promo code Conway. ekpure.com, promo code Conway. AM 640. On iHeart Radio station, download the free iHeartRadio app for all your music, radio, and podcast. KFI AM 640 heard everywhere on the iHeartRadio app. I'm Clay Rowe, and you're listening to Before the Coast, Strange Stories from the iHeart Vault. Let's return now to hear more from Aaron Macy's Grim and Mild Presents. It all culminated on a fairly normal day, as the most pivotal moments of our lives often do. It was November, and the Stiles family was back home in Gibtown and ready to settle in for a quiet winter. Mary, Teresa, and her teenage son Glenn decided to make an evening visit to Kathy and Misty, who were living just across the way. The child was 2 by now, small and mighty, toddling around and just beginning to come up with her own opinions about life. They were all together in Kathy's trailer when the sound of gunshots split the night. For just a few moments, the crickets and bullfrogs were stunned into silence. Everyone looked at each other, their pulses quickening. There was a chill in the air where there hadn't been before. Some quick-thinking neighbors called the cops. Mary, Teresa, and Glenn ran back in the direction of the sound. Their home. The trailer's sliding glass door was ajar, and light from the living room spilled onto the concrete outside. The stench of whiskey and cigarettes lay thick, a smell that was now mingled with the acrid metallic odor of blood and brain matter. And there, slumped over in his brown armchair, was Grady Styles Jr., dead from not one, but 3 gunshot wounds to the head. His reign of terror had finally come to an end, and he had gone out wearing only his boxer briefs. All was quiet in the house. The police arrived quickly, securing the perimeter and confirming that Rabbi Jr. was, in fact, very, very dead. Then they began interviewing everyone in the immediate vicinity. They deduced that nothing was stolen, and there was no sign of a struggle. A neighbor said that he had seen a shadowy figure run from the trailer shortly after hearing the gun go off. How far could the perpetrator have gotten on foot? Mary, Teresa, Glenn, and Kathy stood obediently and answered questions. But the police thought something was off. Oddly, they all seemed fine. So fine, in fact, that the detectives took notice. Yes, shock does interesting things to a person, but this just felt a little strange. It wasn't long until members of the family were brought down to the station for more official questioning. Glenn was the first to take a lie detector test about the whole affair, and with his childlike innocence was eager to do well. And when you find him? When the detectives revealed that he had failed some questions, mostly those referring to his knowledge about Grady's killing, he crumbled. They soon wore him down, and he signed away his rights to have a lawyer present. And then, the confession came spilling out. He talked about Grady's abuse of his mom, how he was always threatening to kill her and get it over with. They just couldn't take it any longer. Mary Teresa had devised a way to finally teach him a lesson. Grady III, who was asleep in the back bedroom of the trailer when all of this took place, later stated that his mother's only intention was to hire someone to scare his father, or maybe just rough him up a little. What we know now, though, was that Chris Lyons, a neighborhood punk, took the job for a cool $1,500. Mary, Teresa, Glenn, and Chris all got their separate days in court. In January of 1994, it was ruled that Chris was guilty of conspiracy in the first degree and murder in the second. Mary Teresa's trial began that July, with heart-wrenching testimony spilling into the pages of the newspaper. My husband was going to kill my family, she testified. I believe that from the bottom of my heart. Her attorney attempted to use the battered spouse defense, a position never before tried in Florida, in a murder-for-hire case. Tears rolled down her cheeks as she was sentenced to 12 years in prison on first-degree murder charges. Glenn, who was on trial for hiring Chris, received a life sentence. I wish I could tell you something different. We all love a happy ending, a story that can tie neatly into a bow. But this isn't one of those. It was probably never going to be one. This situation was one of true horror. But maybe in what happened, we find the lesser of all the evil. Through the death of one of them, there would be something a bit closer to peace for everyone else. The same year that all of this happened, President Bill Clinton signed the Violence Against Women Act into law. It allocated over $1.6 billion towards the investigation and prosecution of violent crimes against women. The initiative was the result of the feminist movement's collective grassroots efforts, work that has spanned decades. Even still, disconcerting attitudes towards domestic violence have long determined how we govern ourselves within the walls of our homes. Some may want to leave, but can't for any number of reasons, so dependency, stubborn commitment, cultural pressure, or just plain fear. Community leaders and police officers have been known to counsel people to try to make abusive situations worse, even though the lives at hand might be in imminent danger. The Violence Against Women Act signaled the beginning of a shift in society. But as you know, gargantuan shifts take a long time to change course in rough waters, and we are still so far from our destination. Grady South Jr. was buried in the local Stone cemetery. The story goes that he was so widely disliked that they had a hard time finding anyone who was willing to be a pallbearer. That and the fact that a large part of his family was being tried for murder. And when pallbearers were finally located, the story tells us that the concession was that they would only do the job if they could handle it with a little bit of flair, with lobster claw mittens on their hands, to be precise. A bouquet of flowers sat atop his coffin, a sworn tragedy, and anyone present, whether they be mourners or gawkers, would have been able to see the words printed across their banner. From your loving wife. This was a heavy story. I think I can speak for all of us here at German Miles when I say that this episode has us hugging our families a little bit closer today. If you or someone you love is struggling at home right now, we've included resource links in the episode description. And now I have something new for you, something different, a look at what's ahead, coming from the contemporary world of the sideshow with my co-producers Robin Miniter and Taylor Hagerman. Stick around through this brief sponsor break to hear all about it.
You're listening to Aaron Macy's Grim and Mild Presents on Before the Coast, strange stories from the iHeart Vault. We'll have more from Grim and Mild Presents coming up next on KFI. Time now for a news update. Live from the day by 24-hour newsroom on Jason Wilson. At least 2 people are dead after a medical helicopter crashed in Alabama today. Officials say it involved a chopper belonging to an emergency rescue service. Police say 25 freight car trains jumped to the tracks today in western Montana, about 200 miles northwest of Bozeman. Former Arkansas Governor Asa Hutchinson says that former President Trump should drop out of the 2024 race now that he's been indicted. Hutchinson also declared his own presidential candidacy. We'll get to traffic soon, right after this. This week's Market Report, we learn about the value of local resources in uncertain times. From Allison Griffin, Head of Marketing at State Farm.
The economy is tough for everyone, and taking a step back and understanding the pain that your customers are currently going through because of a tough environment is really important. We have 19,000 agents across the country, and they understand what's going on in those very unique communities. iHeart has such a broad broadcast reach that is local, connected, and for us to be able to touch customers with a local feel but at a national scale is so efficient and important for us.
It's the #1 audio company. iHeartMedia gives marketers access to all. Every audience, live conversations, trusted influencers, and the insights and data you need to grow. It's not just a media company. iHeartMedia is your access point. If you're a marketer, go to iHeartResults.com.
All right, let's check traffic in Boyle Heights and the city. If you went to the band in Boyle Heights, that's actually going to turn divider person blocking the left lane. Along Court Street on the 1 south of the 91, it's fresh blocking the connecting road to 91. And then the 1 south of Avenue 43, Howard Park, straight up is stall on the long range. That's how the guy does Avenue 52. In Santa Clarita on the 14 south, St. James Road, a construction ladder makes way to the carpooling left lane. And if you can like working Hobart, there's a situation where there's a couple potholes that cause like 9 vehicles to move over the right shoulder in Pasadena. And then horse carrying stalls cleared on the 670 south at the 22, all lanes have reopened in that area. Need to find the sky and help get you there faster. I'm Zachary Davis.
This report is sponsored by Family Dollar. Shop in the spring and save more at Family Dollar. Dress you up with beautiful dresses and bumpers at great prices. And welcome guests with tasty snacks, beverages, and a variety of ice cream. Family Dollar, helping you do more.
I thought learning a language would be too much work. Then I discovered Babbel. They make learning fun. Jim does that.
Babbel's lessons only take 10 or 15 minutes. Quick and easy. And soon you start to realize, hey, I'm starting to speak another language. How'd that happen?
My friend from Italy said my accent and pronunciation is perfect. It's because Babbel's lessons are designed by language teachers and voiced by real native speakers. Each lesson is like living in another country for 15 minutes.
I love that there's all kinds of ways to learn. Babbel's podcasts or games or videos. You can even join live classes with a language teacher.
You learn words and phrases you actually use in real conversation.
In 3 weeks, I was starting to speak in another language. So easy.
If you want to learn a language, there's no faster, easier, better way than Babbel. Go to Babbel.com to try for free. That's Babbel.com. Babbel.com.
Why should you choose Sweet James if you're hurt in a car, motorcycle, or trucking accident? We'll let the results speak for themselves. Here are some of the settlements won for injured victims by the attorneys of Sweet James. $29 million won for a client hurt in a multiple vehicle accident. $11 million won for a client hurt in a trucking accident. $1 million for a client hurt in a motorcycle accident. Sweet James wins for clients hurt in these types of cases 98% of the time. They settle more money in 1 year than most firms settle in their lifetime. So if you're hurt in an accident and results matter to you, call the attorneys at Sweet James. Pay nothing until they win. They can't guarantee the outcome of any case, but it's important for you to have an experienced and successful law firm on your side. To get a free consultation, here's the number, 800-500-5200. That's 800-500-5200. Again, 800-500-5200. And SweetJames.com. Losing air conditioning on a hot summer day can be a perennial nightmare, and no one wants that. Help your air conditioner last longer and reduce breakdowns with a rejuvenation.
We'll make 6 critical adjustments so you'll feel cool, use less energy, and increase the life of your system.
We'll clean the outdoor coils the right way, not the easy way.
Rejuvenation, just for $129.
Scale air conditioning and plumbing. We'll need CPR.com. We'll keep it cool, but it's hard to set. Line number 1047-781.
Do you find yourself stuck in a timeshare? Keep your real facts about the timeshare industry and your options for cancellation. Captain Dowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group, is the largest timeshare company in federal court and has put together a free information guide that reveals the secrets the timeshare industry doesn't want you to know, including the 5 ways to get rid of your timeshare. Call now and get the timeshare cancellation guide absolutely free.
Call 800-738-9900. That's 800-738-9900.
As well, shopping with pickup and delivery is the same as shopping in store. Same low prices, deals, and rewards on the same high-quality items. One small trip for groceries, one big win for busy families everywhere. Start your cart today at ROTHSCHILD.com. Roth, fresh for everyone. It's the single product designed to be there.
Think big on your favorites with the buy 5 or more, save $1 each sale. Simply buy 5 or more participating items and save $1 each with your cost. Ralph, fresh whoever you like. With car prices at an all-time high, our donors are now getting the highest receipts ever. Donate at carsforkids.org, and your car can be picked up tomorrow. You should choose your air purifier like your life depends on it because, well, it's your life. The recent Ohio chemical disaster showed us toxic air threatens our health. ViralRabbi is the next generation in home air purification. It's specifically designed to wipe out airborne viruses, germs, and chemicals known to cause allergies, illness, and difficulty breathing. Even toxic fumes from the recent train derailment were no match for ViralRabbi. A single EnviroCleanse unit removed 99% of the dangerous compounds that were found in the homes near the chemical disaster. If it can clean the air after a toxic spill, imagine how it can help keep your family healthy. Only EnviroCleanse comes with a free air quality monitor. Visit ekpure.com and use the promo code Conway for 10% off your EnviroCleanse home purification unit. Plus, you get the free air quality monitor and fast free shipping. That's $150 savings. RothSCHILD.com, promo code Conway. I never chose to become a gambling addict. But what I did choose was to get help from a professional counselor. Admitting I was powerless to solve my problems, that opened the door. I thought I would be unprepared until I called 1-800-GAMBLER and was provided life-changing resources and referrals at zero cost to me.
For no-cost gambling addiction counseling, call 1-800-GAMBLER or text support to 53342. Brought to you by the California Department of Public Health.
When you get nachos, tacos, empanadas, spicy pizza with jalapenos, Pepto-Bismol there. Pepto-Bismol provides fast-effective relief from nausea, heartburn, indigestion, upset stomach, and diarrhea. All the things that can happen unexpectedly on vacation. So before you travel, pack the Pepto. Pepto-Bismol. When you have nausea, heartburn, indigestion, that's directed. You gotta read the children. All the radio stations you love, every playlist to match your mood, and hot match sure everyone's talking about what it's on the iHeart Radio app. It's free. Download the free iHeart Radio app for all your music, radio, and podcasts. Billionaire is a loaded word when it comes off of the little bread, moist, and still somehow flaky lips of Bernie Sanders. Think that billionaire is using it in a derogatory way, and Howard Schultz is saying, listen, everything I got, I earned. Feeling the Shannon, everything. Live 9 to 1 p.m. on KFI, and on demand anytime on the iHeartRadio app. KFI, AM 640, heard everywhere on the iHeartRadio app. I'm Clay Rowe, and you're listening to Before the Coast, strange stories from the iHeart Vault. Let's return now to hear more from Aaron Macy's Grim and Mild Presents.
Wow, that was a doozy of an episode. It really was. We've encountered some dark stories over the course of the season, and it's really easy to remove ourselves from them. Just to think that they're tales of yesteryear that we think took place a long time ago, maybe back in a time where we weren't so knowledgeable or we weren't so enlightened. But in meeting Brady and his family, we can understand that we really aren't that far removed from this history. None of it took place that long ago. And it's actually might be harder to find these days, but it still lingers.
Right. Well said. I would move that beyond seeing a ghost, right, into the scary, very present force. I was surprised me, and I was surprised you too. When we started this on a lot ago, we had to start with Barnum, right, and the recognition. I truly didn't predict we'd end up with this new and similar kind of darkness of Brady. But the Brady in the 90s wasn't the end of the Tyson story. That's right. That brings us right up to the present. And I actually have one more Brady Child adjacent story for our listeners. You want to hear it? Absolutely, please. All right. So, style setting legacies still felt consistent. People are not going to forget what happened that easily. However, there's a story in a place that's far removed from this town and time and place. There's a gal with Steve Kelly, who remembers the infamous sideshow Lobster Boy in her own way. One of looking back to history trying to find out that people that, Lobster Boy, Lobster Girl, all those kind of stage styles. To extend, she's a personal reason to go looking. She's a writer, she's an organizer, and she just happens to be someone else who was born with extra decades. So for her, the some of her fingers on one hand are fused together. But growing up, she knew that her hands were a little bit different. But actually, it didn't make that much difference in her life. And she'll tell you this. Once I learned how to paint my nails, it was fun. I'm still pretty good at painting my nails. As long as I have, little two bars whatever. But everyone needs that. She walked through life pretty non-free. And so much so that she didn't just not care about what people thought, but she actively embraced things that were pretty offbeat. And she feels she's always had the confidence just to do her own thing. Especially when it's cute little 14-year-old girls, so much eyeliner and long blonde hair. There are other things that stood out to people more than seeing the face fingers. But not too long ago, something happened that made her see her name different and in an entirely new way.
Ooh, interesting. Tell me more. Okay. A few years ago, Becky just headed out on another job, just another writing assignment that she wants to do. Well, what she found when she got there ended up being something far more profound. I wrote the story and I interviewed people and, I did the work, but it became much more of a personal, I don't say silly words, but it switched from professional to personal real quick. And so because of this, and for many other reasons, you can do just our next and last episode. And there's one more person we want to introduce to our cool cat listeners, right? Yes, ma'am. So we'll get to meet our new friend, Dr. Bob Thompson. By then, he's been our media star at Trinity University.
I will confess right now that I have watched the Bachelor from the very beginning, and I will also confess that I get some pleasure out of watching that little hot mess.
But by night, he watching more TV than anyone I've ever met. And bringing runs, and I know that because you have my Hulu password. But that said, that aside. So, Taylor, what does TV have to do with the sideshow anyways? It's a damn good question, isn't it? I mean, I'm in the business of asking questions. You are, and you're in luck. Because you will soon find out that Bob Thompson has all sorts of good stuff. Interesting. We've got this really powerful feature in store for the listeners, don't we? Do you think they're curious enough to stick around for one last episode?
Or you could also say that the intellectual curiosity can go a lot more than that.
You can't scare them away. I just telling them how excited I was. No, nothing to fear here. Listen. We're actually doing exactly what all the site goers need to do.